Neil's here, Sean's here. They're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to take the names as decided by you on the midday show. So make sure to get your vote in every day. What a move down on the Qs. We touch those almost all-time highs at 20,800 on the NQ September contract. And then as you saw during the midday show on how to trade, we really broke down. Still defending 20,500. A little bit above that. Still haven't hit that overnight low, but definitely retracing a lot of those gains. One of the names that's also negative in Mag 7 world, second weakest name in Mag 7 is Nvidia. First being Amazon. Nvidia taking a bit of a down day today after TD Cowen boosted this one with a nice price target upgrade and maintaining its buy rating, guys. What is the look on Nvidia?
Psyched me out because, no, I pulled up DJT. I knew DJT would be on the list, obviously, but we can get to Nvidia. I think it made the, well, okay, you know what? I actually don't know. Maybe DJT isn't on the list. You could be 100% right. No, Nvidia, I'm not gonna lie, I traded AMD today and actually ended up getting an AVGO, but I didn't trade Nvidia. All I can say is it's stair-step into the downside for you. And if you look at what's basically been going on, it's Friday's high and Thursday's lower high, that 132 that looks like it's a good spot. Go back a couple of days and you had even a close there on the 9th at that same price. The only thing I'll be looking at is 127 because that looks like it could be the spot for Nvidia. If it loses 127, there's a bit of a gap fill potential. We're only like a couple of bucks into 125. But yeah, it's trend down. I was in AMD. I'm still actually on the offer to go short as it's starting to trend back into the downside, down 0.5%. So my look has actually been in AMD. It was first a long off 180 and now looking short off this afternoon trend, trying to get 181 quarter or so.
Yeah, we're $1 in the money right now on Nvidia as we start to go a little bit short there. We started switching up the game once we broke below that 130. I mean, we were trying the long. Our last one was at 129. You know, we had this great long all the way. We even bought more up there, good long. And then we just flipped over to the short. So right now, down 1%, relative weakness, pretty simple stuff here. Tried to short it off the 200 period. We'll try it again if it does come back up. But it's time to regroup a little bit. We still have a decent size on this, so it's still a good trade here. But again, just been taken out. It just managed to be the bottoms every time. I took it out there again. So we're kind of waiting for this 127 flat spot here as the market goes back into the downside. So yeah, a little bit of a different day here as we started the morning and now into the close. So there you go, Neil. DJT not on the board.
I was just guessing.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be. Over there, what's up, Sharif?
Sean, what a day this one has. You can see right now up 4 2/3. Elon Musk tweeting midday that the reason that they delayed the robotaxi from August to October was this, to allow an important design change to the front end, and they want to show off a few more features that may not have been available for August. So interesting look. The market doesn't seem to mind it too much, guys. What is the look on Tesla?
I say it all the time. I mean, I've said it earlier on. We said it here. Adara was her #1 stock. Tesla's the #1 stock here today. And it's just like boom, boom. Huge done to the upside there as we go. So 257.50, a good bottom there. But we had 253 longs, which was pretty huge. And that was basically the whole day. Then we tried it again before slipping it up at 260. So that was a try. And then a fail, and then that bottom was 257. Was that 260? Yeah. And then that was 257.70 there or so. So we'll figure out what's happening. But 262, I guess right now, I'm trying to go long now. So 262 break long, I feel like is a good trade for Tesla at this point, or if we get some dip buys. I'm net short everything, but Tesla up 6%. I mean, great trading. Almost made everything back as we get clarification from Elon. Makes a lot of sense to me. You got to like Tesla long today, not short.
Yeah, it's definitely been a super strong one. I'll get to Rivian in a second because I was also trading that one. But it's putting in lower highs, I think, at this moment. And the last dip wasn't a good one for me at the 260 level on Tesla. Bigger picture, the good news is you didn't fill in any of the gap on the 15-minute. It doesn't really matter the time frame. You didn't fill in any of the gap at the open to maybe get anything in a 250. So that's a good sign of strength. But what makes it strong isn't necessarily the pattern in the afternoon. It's making a wedge, higher highs and higher lows. If it breaks the wedge out to the top, I think that sets it up for a good run this afternoon. So something along these lines. Like once it breaks this wedge on the 15-minute, looking for longs over into the afternoon would make a heck of a lot of sense over there on Tesla. And now it is there.
Yeah. It's back, DJT.
We threw you a bit of a curveball there, guys. Yeah, DJT up big on the day, but definitely off those highs, trying to curl back up, as you can see right now, breaking through 42. I was watching this one on Blue Ocean last night when it first started trading on the weekend, and it was already up over 30%. I got into the office this morning, saw it at 50%. Great look, sold off a lot during the day, trying to recover right now. What's your look, guys, on DJT?
Well, this was basically the price area that I tried it long this morning. So it's right back there. This 42. It also happens to be like this wick high. You get about to like 43. That's all the way back to June 28th. You had some resistance in and around 42 to 43. Call it 41 and a half. And so you're right back in. Had a dip. If I was playing only scalp trade it, not looking for multiple dollar moves on this, could have gone a little bit differently, but believe me, when dipping into 42, I wasn't necessarily thinking, hey, let's take only a buck on that first move. I'm thinking get back to 45, 46, 47. That hasn't happened, but it's not over yet. So if it breaks out the morning range high, like this is about 42 and a half, and then this little wick in here, right off the opening top, would be 43 and a half. First, you have to get through VWAP, but if it does that and consolidates here, I'll be looking for another long shot. So we took our shot in the morning and lost on DJT, but now it's showing a little bit more strength. Again, it's not anything but momentum. The fundamentals of this, I don't think have changed at all, but that doesn't matter if it decides that it wants to go on a rally this afternoon. It's held a decent portion of that gap, filling maybe half of it in. So a break above VWAP, consolidation over 42. We'll be looking for long. But if it doesn't show it, you don't have to take it.
50. Yeah, look, so the Republican convention's starting right now. So maybe there is reason for this thing to break VWAP and get going again. So there it is, 42.50, 42.60, trying to come in here for DJT. So, I mean, hopefully it's going to be a level. I'm not sure, but I think it's dangerous to trade this 35%. But I think you always play gaps back to VWAP. So if you like the short, I think this is a good spot. And if you like the long, I think it's a good spot. There it is right there, breaking above. Like, I know that's saying the same thing, but like there's VWAP. We haven't tested it since that break early, right? So there it is right there, 42.30 coming into play now for that. As we're going to sit on the bid right now. We are back into the dollar club right now for Nvidia. So nice move coming back in. $1 in the money on the TQs, $1 in the money on Nvidia. Let's take it back to Sharif.
SiriusXM Holdings, Sean, great day for them today as they got the nod from Barrington Research, maintaining their outperform rating, but boosting up the price target to 475. It's a premium from where it's trading at right now. You can see a bit of a dip there as we started talking about. It's still up 5%, though. Looks like the spread's a little wide.
Siri? No, I mean, Siri, yeah, it's got a 1 cent spread on it. But it's got a 25% short float, so it's got some interest for that reason. The daily chart, nothing really stands out at these levels unless you're breaking out above 420 or so on Siri. But 5 days in a row to the upside is pretty good. It's got a decent trend in here. I would suppose like scalp it off of VWAP, and that's a 10-cent range from VWAP to the top. Every dip has been okay, but it's not doing an egregious amount of volume here, only 30 million shares, which is not bad. I have the 10-day average daily volume is 60 million shares, or 62 million shares according to Trade Ideas, and I see it more than halfway through the day done 30. So its relative volume isn't there right now. So yes, decent trend to the upside, but not doing a ton of volume here on Siri. I'd call it a pass, but maybe keep it on the radar in case it squeezes past 420. And if you ever break out 420, then we got something. But you know, volume has been tapering off a little bit here on Sirius Satellite Radio.
Yeah, it's just a sell. I mean, you've just been coming from $2.50 all the way up to $4. You have to sell this name. This is dead technology. I mean, anybody that still has Siri is fine, but it's not many of them. So I don't know what the reason for this upgrade is or anything like that. But again, not a great day trading stock for sure. But if you've been holding it, I mean, that's a great move. So down to 240, I mean, you're still, this is what I'm saying about it, not, you know, like since on the year, the NASDAQ's up 40%. This thing started the year at 525. So you're still down 40% there. Yeah, huge move downside. If you're lucky enough to buy it down here, it's like buying Rivian at that $11 mark and it goes to 18. You take some out. Like you buy Tesla at 140, it goes to 280 or 270, you take some out. I think that's what you do right here. And then if you believe in the company and believe in what they're doing, which clearly I do not, then I think you try to hold for a little bit longer. So yeah, man, SiriusXM Radio, a name from 25 years ago.
It feels like a blast from the past, Sean. I was just telling Fabian that I only use it when I get a new car, 6 months free, then never pay for that again. So here's a look on SoundHound. This one was really strong last week. It had that catalyst about using its voice integration in the cars with Peugeot, Opel, and Vauxhall. It's supposed to be incorporated with ChatGPT. We know Nvidia is heavily invested in this name. Took a bit of a bath today, almost 10%, guys, right now. What's the look on Sound?
You know what? As you bring it up, it's about to go 10%, so it might make some kind of an SSR bounce, and there is actually a level coming in on Sound. That'll be $5.30. So I think it's kind of simple for this afternoon. Ideally, you want to be with the trend, but that will require some kind of a pop to be able to be shorted. Otherwise, hey, Friday's low was $5.30. The previous Thursday's close price and support was $5.30. It'll be SSR, short sell restricted, if it goes even like 10 cents further. So maybe a 530 level hold for SOUN makes sense. It's going to be 10% down. All it has to do is tick. There it is. It's 10% downside, so it's going to be short sell restricted. So if you get down to about 530, that would be a support level for SOUN. Usually moves at times with Nvidia. So if you see some kind of a spike in Nvidia, that might give you another reason to jump into this name off of that support level. Until then, I mean, the trend is clearly to the downside. I mean, down 10%, I don't have to tell you guys. You guys can see the chart. Lower highs. VWAP looks like it was fantastic. We talk about this all the time. Like, if you look for a trend in one direction, a good place to continue it or join it is going to be VWAP. Look at this one. Right at the open, puts in VWAP once, puts in VWAP again, and then just continues to go to the downside. So if you're favoring shorts on something like this, you're laughing, but at these levels, it's a lot closer to that 530 support than anything else.
So a laugh can turn out to a frown very, very quick, and I'll show you how. Look at Mara. $23. We're laughing all the way to the bank today. Should be volatile day. Watch for the breakout. Looking good on the daily. Okay, well, maybe I just wrote it down wrong. Let me see what I did here. Oh, yeah, 23 long. Key level, good breakout. Good breakout. Gotta use different words. There's 23 right there. And it never, ever, ever went against you all the way up to 24.50. And you see all these trades I have here on Mara? Yeah, we don't have any. So we took our talents to South Beach with the futures. We should have taken them to crypto land here with this play. So it is a Windows fail right there. We should have had it. We got to believe in the stuff that we write, which we do. But there it is, Mara. Absolutely a rocket of a trade through 23. I hope you guys have that. I'm going to say a big shout out to Sticky Note Nation out there for that reason. So hopefully you guys do that. And then Travolta's like, hey, man, but you are Sticky Note Nation. Where's the trade? And you are right, Mr. Travolta. We will do better next time. I promise you that. But thank you for all of those names there on the rundown. It's my understanding that we will have Daniel Shea coming through at some point here today. So it's a great opportunity to talk more about options heading into a new earnings week. So that should be a heck of a lot of fun.
We didn't even talk about Goldman or anything.
The banks?
Goldman is actually very strong today.
Oh, yeah. Goldman's
1.7. The market's literally at the low of the day. Goldman Sachs is triple top as we speak and breaking out, obviously. It was kind of already breaking out before, but 2% into a wedge could take out these highs at 490. It's not really rapid movement or anything, but yeah, worth acknowledging at least that there's something out there which is strong, and Goldman certainly looks like it. That DJT just crept into VWAP, and VWAP is just a line on the chart, but at least this time it got exactly to said line at $42.25 and pulled back. So you can still see it holding underneath VWAP. If it breaks that out, it is set up for a little bit of a potential break back into at least, I don't think it's necessarily home run time, if it even gets to 45, which is pre-market lows, that's a couple of dollars out there for you. So first things first, it actually has to break VWAP, which it has absolutely not done. AMD, which is the trend I'm looking to join, now doesn't want the top of the trend line at all. You're breaking the low down underneath that 180, which was support this morning, and looking very, very weak. So I'm kind of pivoting over to maybe something else in the chip space. I look over at Micron. It's a very similar down move, just looking for entry points over in the chip names because there's a lot of weakness in there. I was asked about ARM. ARM is just also very extended away from the 180. Again, there's really not any red candle or green candles on a lot of these names back into the downside. So eyeballs are on DJT. It's very close to a breakout. I'll be on that because it's 30 cents away and it could easily break any second. 30 cents is essentially one move on DJT for it to try to break out. So that could happen pretty much any time. If it's because of the convention starting, so be it. I don't think it necessarily matters. It's just about momentum here. And there's not a heck of a lot that's breaking higher.
Just looking around here right now. Yeah, the day has turned a little bit sour here as we have, I got to say a big shout out to Adara. Adara is up there. You're up there on the leaderboard. So there you go. As yeah, not too many positive traders. As I think a lot of traders were, and like myself too, I went red too because we tried this Amazon, and this is the thing that wound up taking us red, as we were short Amazon in the first place, and then red after that, and then Nvidia right here. I mean, we'll see if we can make it back. But again, a little bit of a rough day there. And it was all this one. It was Amazon. We had it really great in the morning. And then this happened down here into 190. Good long down there. But wow, Amazon down 1.35% as we try to get some good vibes going. And we always congratulate, right? So congratulations to Adara for being one of 4 positive traders on the floor today. All right, good job, Adara. 123.37s. We're trying to see if we can get going. We have back-to-back dollars right now. We're in both of these names, and we'll see if we can get going on these trades. We'll have to try to find some more right there. There it is, Adara. Yes, sir. Get some love there in the chat. And I'm going to do that every time. Let you guys know when, especially because Adara last week was like, oh, you had a bad week or something, or a bad couple of days, and was like, nah, forget about it. Shake that off. And there you go. So good job there for A. All right, looking for other stuff. All right, so what? Yeah, that was a good idea. Right there, we'll trade for Citigroup. Was that a ding in my ear I deserved there or no? There's Citigroup.
That's what I heard.
I'm hearing a lot of weird things, man. All right, 64.80. We tried this short. We do take 20 cents of a hit there as we tried it against that past high. Now it blasts to the upside. We really like some Citigroup. We talked about this one. Of course, the 2 banks that we own are Goldman, which is rocking, man. DJ Goldman right here to the upside there as DJ Solomon playing the right beats these days. Look at this, man. Huge move. We're long at 270 something on this one. JP Morgan as well. You guys know that COVID bottom of $80 to $100 is what we're talking about, but we got a lot out of JP Morgan before, and it was way lower than this. I think it was in here, in the 60s, maybe even up in here. So we don't have too much of the banks left. Rats on that one. I'm going to refresh some of my charts. I don't see too much moving. I was going to say XOM.
The crypto names are all at the highest.
Yeah, crypto names. I'm already bitter about that, but we'll go back over to Mar in a second. Little dip down. We almost got to view up. I was looking at XOM just like an hour ago or so, hoping that we would get to this 115 area. Looks like we came pretty close on that. So we had some pending bids here. I've just canceled it, but 115.05 or so coming in for XOM would be decent. Looks like the market is just really stair-stepping down. I mean, that's what it looks like to me, all the way back there. And we'll see what winds up happening now back in. I just hit Adara trusting herself. And I think that that's something that we try to instill over here by not getting in and out of ideas the minute, they crack. You got to give yourselves a little bit more faith. And if that means looking at P&L or not, or figuring out your stuff, putting in extra time, on the train or whatever, or putting in that extra work to make sure that you are confident in what you're doing. So I think that's very, very important. I think the NASDAQ's my number one name here today is going to be the TQQs. We shorted the NASDAQ right here. So, that's up to VWAP. It's too bad because we were trying to get a heck of a lot more than this. But nice downside move here. TQs, the futures once again, my number one stock.
Yeah, crypto names have been probably the strongest thing out there today. If you're looking for something which is running those highs, you already went over Mara, but there's Mara broke out 23. The difference between Riot and Mara has nothing to do with percent up. They're both absolute moonshots today. But Riot just so happens to be at a resistance area on the daily, which is $11.50. You can see the 200-period moving average is 1160. The previous high in here, like these wicks, are 1130. So in that channel, 30 to 60, I think it's a bit of a chop fest, where if it fails again, I had a long into this level. It was a long at 1135 out into 1150, so it couldn't take this the first time. You're getting right back up into that zone. So if Riot fails a double top in here, like that would be resistance on the daily, which I would respect. So strong trend up. But the difference between this and Mara is Mara 23 broken out, and Riot same level, same move at a resistance point. So, I would look at Riot here and say if there's any kind of turnaround. By the way, $25 might be a level on Mara. There's like just a small level down here, but it's a bigger one over on Riot. AMD is trying to get higher. Whether or not we actually even get this back into trend, that would now be like 180.75 or so. So if it pulls right back into this top, it would be about 180.75. That's where I'd be looking to get the short back into. Still no breakout on DJT. Got to give it a little bit more room for Riot to get up to the high here. It needs to retrace back into that 1150 area where I'd look for a double top curl.
All right, let's talk with Michael Noss.
Mr. Noss.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, he was looking at that Canada Goose this morning, but the other one, really not much of a day trading stock, Canada Goose. But the other one was Reddit, and Reddit did exactly the same thing that it's done every single time it's gotten to $76. So obviously, look, it's obviously true that if it holds above 76, continue trend squeeze and all that. But this is like the fourth time now that it's gotten to that 26 level. This is the best run that it had going into it, but it never comes out of it above. Like every single day, it's been breaking with some higher highs, but you've been failing eventually under 2076. And when it broke this, I guess, like 75 level, that could have been a short opportunity. At some point, it's going to, well, I shouldn't say that with certainty. At some point, if it holds the morning above 76 and pulls back in and holds 76 and goes higher, I think that's a break that you're going to want to have. But unfortunately, I don't know what time frame, whether or not he was like, yeah, it has to break it and hold above on a weekly, or break above it and close. Maybe it has to close above 76. That would be pretty bullish. It's different for swing trading than day trading. For day trading, Reddit 76, you could have scalped it for a couple of bucks, but it would be a failure otherwise. But swing trading, it has yet to close above that price. I think the second it does, it looks like a pretty decent opportunity for a long. Unfortunately, nothing doing for that Reddit. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be in it, though.
Yeah, we can ask him. He'll be there tonight. We'll find out about that. Okay, so 80.85. I mean, we're pretty light on this position. As you can see, we took a lot out. I'm looking for reloading spots here on the futures. So we're still $1 in. Let's take a piece out on Nvidia in case we are starting to head back up as we ride this 50-period moving average. We just put a bid at 60 there as it pops through right now, so it's fine. I still like the short, but I wonder if for market purposes we need to at least get back up somewhere near VWAP. So if we're going to look at our TQQ trade right here and see where VWAP is, wow, that's all the way up to 82. So I'm not sure if I like it too much into that. We can almost trade it to the 50 or to the 200, which is 81.90. But for right now, yeah, it's got to be a pullback to 82 for the TQQs. So again, we'll look to see that. My current offer right now is at 82.30. I don't know. We could put a few shares up there. I was gonna do that. So why don't I do it? 81.95 or so, maybe 500 shares. We'll see if we can get a short into that right there. And then if we're wrong, we at least have VWAP right there at 82.10. Take about a 10-cent hit, and then maybe even the top. I don't think 10-cent hit, but that's 82.35. Something we can look at for the triple Qs. And again, TQQ. We could trade the Qs as well if you guys want to look at that, but it is the TQQ. Pulling back up here to 81.50, 81.60 would be this kind of little bump area. That's 80s. That could be something. Let's wait to see. I'd rather short VWAP though, $82. So let's wait for a pullback in that one. As far as reloading Nvidia, if we're going to do that at all, we're at the 50 period now, which was getting me a little bit nervous for this. I'm going to look for some new trades, so don't worry about it. I just want to have a quick look right now. That would be right there, 128.70. So that would be something there for Nvidia. Yeah, there it is right there, 128.50, 128.60. So maybe a little bit of a pullback up there, 128.50. So we still need to get some work done if we're going to trade anything. The SPY is something that we really hit last week. You guys know that we are in the TQ short, and my guy Obi over here was absolutely crushing that short, as you all remember that. We were actually, it was a dynamic duo when we didn't have Neil here with, I was on the TQs short, he was on the SPY, and just crushing it into the close there on Friday. So we'll see if we could do something else again, but I think we got to be patient with all of this as we wait. So spiders right now trying to get back, and of course, this is the S&P 500, outpaced by the NASDAQ, but pretty even here. All right, here comes Nvidia pulling back. Let's see if we can get that 60 fill. That would be all right. Looks like we didn't get short there on the TQs. We could have. Trying to pull back just a little bit now. Still lots of time, man. It's only 2:30.
Yeah, I was just close to getting AMD. It's like it got up there, but not quite yet. So you're easing back to the upside. And if you're looking to short pops, like this should be the move that gets you back in. Still has to happen. Nothing there just yet. I saw someone in the chat mentioning you could have a VP pick after market at 4:30 or so. So if that is the case, hey, maybe we'll have an idea. That would leave you without that as a catalyst for something like a DJT, but that doesn't necessarily matter. It can run anyway. So still want AMD. Riot is at that top. It's right now trying to break out those highs. Remember, it's 1160 on the daily-ish. I mean, 1161 is a 200-period moving average. That would be the level. So it's pressing into it right now, still pretty strong. What I'd like to see is when the breakout failed, you had a little topping tail action, and then when you start coming in on the other side, that's where I would look for a short. It's nothing like AMD, where I'm just offering into the trend because one is trending down, it is trending up on Riot. So I want to actually see that thing start to go into the downside. Thank you, Chef Joe. You're right, 435 VP pick, so maybe you'll see a little something aftermarket. Let us know anything else that you guys are looking at here. James Choi saying Nike breaking out. That would be nice. Well, yeah, I mean, it's off the bottom a little bit. Nike's still down at those lows. Yet to really make a definitive bottom on Nike. Unless it's here, 71.50, that would be one day. So there, one day that Nike has held 71.50 after another dip down. There you go, 71.50, 71.50. That's a couple of times that it's able to hold that level. I still say you need a little bit. I need a little bit more to try a swing trade, which I was looking for an opportunity to do a little swing post earnings on Nike, but I want to see a couple of days of holding a low like that and then a breakout of a resistance level to get myself in. But a good look if you happen to have it long. You know, it's bounced off the bottom, so you should be in the money right now. DJT just broke VWAP for the first time since the pre-market. Actually, this is the first time since the pre-market that it's above VWAP. So play into 43, 44, and then 45 here on DJT. If I do see it fail again, I'd probably go over to Funware and actually give it some room this time. But for now, above VWAP here on DJT. And we're looking for that short on it, AMD. Just got to give it time to get up there.
Yeah, we're trying to be patient as well as we get excited to go more short on something.
I think look at Disney today.
Punch that DJT probably. Right there, breaking. What did I just tell you? Okay. Talking with my wife here. Coinbase. So Coinbase right now 63. I mean, what a good day it's been for crypto. There right now. I was just looking at Coinbase. Was trying to set up a little bit anyways for a short. I don't know if that is going to be the case. There it is right there. The 200 period moving average is right there. But Coinbase up 10, 11% today. It's better to play this long, not short. And there's the dip into VWAP. So that was the opportunity. 239. Okay, so I'm still waiting for this. We're getting closer and closer now. I'm waiting at 60s for this short into 80s on the market. So let's wait to see what happens here for the TQs. Hopefully we do get a nice little bump up there. We're still going to try to fade it against VWAP there. The market's giving it up today, but it's still green. The only thing is, as I look at like a longer term chart here of the NASDAQ, it's like, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to go long until we get like above maybe 20,700, something like that, 2750s even back there, which is about 150 handles away. So I think I'd rather be short up here against some of these highs with these wicks until we get earnings to confirm that this market wants to go back up, but we're still huge. I mean, this market's still huge. There's all-time highs right there. It's a sneeze away. So we'll watch, but this is the 200 period moving average on a 30-minute chart. We really respected it last time, and it looks like we're doing it again here today. So that level that needs to be broken is basically 20,550. So if we can break below that, then we'd be a little bit more comfortable, which is exactly where we just bounced off of. So I'm going to let it bounce, let it settle, and see if we can put some more damage here on Nvidia, especially if we can get something around this 128.50. That would be a spot. But honestly, I was waiting for VWAP as that's coming back in now. I'm going to cancel my Nvidia and just figure this out as we go. I'm already bidding in the 60s now. Would like a short. It might be the 200 period. Let's see how it reacts. That's 128.50. People mentioning Palantir.
I meant to look at Snowflake.
Yeah, nice little drop down to 28.60,
down.
28.50, but still up 2.5% there for Palantir. Still holding pretty much highs today. I mean, that high is 29.20. So we'll see if we can get back into there, but that's a good little level. 28.50 for Palantir. Nvidia's right
the
at
30 break is going to be
right at a big level, back to 128. We could short that, but
Palantir's 30 break is going to be insane, probably. But it's every time you mention Palantir, I'm like, Snowflake, be patient, because I'm looking for an entry on that stock. And I looked again today, and it's not breaking out. So I just got to wait for it because it's so appealing to just sit on the bid as it's trending back into the downside. But I think that's going to be a good one. DJT did just get to the $0.50. So bounce off, it broke VWAP, got to the $0.50. Next offer is out in front of 43. It's starting to go. So you're getting a little bit of, and the volume's not bad either. So there you go. Volume looking pretty decent on that pickup. Just needs to continue to maintain some volume above VWAP, and I think this one has a chance. We did get Riot, was waiting for it to actually set up off that high. So it gets to that high. There's your pullback. So get in underneath that 50 level. Current high is like 54, so give it to the top. Look for a retrace back into previous support. So over here in Riot, yes, it's strong, but this is more about where it is on the daily chart. Willing to take a shot in there. It's less than 10 cents worth of risk, really. And given this a resistance spot, I wouldn't want to fight Mara up here because there's no reason to. And only because I just mentioned it, you know, like I said, I'm looking for an entry into Snowflake. Snowflake has been riding this 50-period moving average. And my play is when it closes above this, I'm probably just going to go long the next day. In my personal account. Like, it's not necessarily a day trade, but this does look like a pretty good level here. At some point, and it could always just trend down forever. I think that's pretty unlikely. But the day that it does that, I'm going to take my shot to get in. You can always wait for a stock to reverse and show you like a strong high or a low or a breakout before you dip your toes into it. What I like about it is it would similar space to Palantir, but it would be playing catch up instead of breaking out some highs in here. So I am eyeballs on Snowflake. I say this every single week, and then it never actually gets up there. Rejecting that 50 period every single time. So it gets close, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get long my personal account at some point in Snowflake, and then we don't actually get there. So with any trend line, AMD, the more we get along closer to the close, you kind of have a moving target in here. So it's at the top of the trend line here. If it wicks and fails back under, this would be the entry spot for me on advanced micro devices. So we're in that. DJT still right back at VWAP. We scalped some out there, but short in Riot, not Mara, and now short back in the trend line here with advanced micro devices.
Okay, here we go again. One of the bigger positions today. Let's just hit the sirens and see if it works. I don't know. The TQs right now trying to go back up. So we get close to the 50 period moving average there of 83s. We want to try to use that. I never know where to get short. I mean, if I wait for that exact price, it's great, but sometimes you just miss it, right? It's like we went short here against it and it worked. We would have not been able to get it again. Let's see. If it fails there, then we can relook at this trade at VWAP. So, we're in the futures. It's flat basically at these levels as we work with. Now, the question is that do we now really want to short Nvidia as it pops back up? Because we don't need to be short both these names. Obviously, we would be out of the queues if Nvidia does pop back up here. I'm actually going to maybe just rest with this Qs trade right now and calm down on Nvidia. So there's Nvidia. We'll see. I'm going to leave this one a little bit because it just got rocketed up there. And I know the futures did as well. But little I don't know if we're more confident in one or the other, but let's just not get run over on both. We'll slow down on Nvidia and try to work with this. So again, a pullback to the 50 period would be fantastic. That would be monstrous. I don't know. This 200 period keeps on getting closer and closer. So now you're in the 80s again. You're at 80, 81. So maybe we should tighten up our stops. That top of the day is 71 right there. So we'll see if this wants to work. We're short at 62s, bidding 52s. So there it is. Yeah, let's just see. Hopefully the market will pull back a little bit here. We don't need more Fed speak or nothing. Let's just see if this is a technical move back to the 200 and then a fade. So if we want to trade weak stocks, the futures right now, although the trend seems to be going the other way, still holding down. Let's see if we can get going there. And we'll see if we made a mistake. Are we short too early? And maybe it's VWAP is what's more important here. So we'll wait. We'll give it a shot here. And you know, I heard Sharif say all midday, like you don't have to trade just to trade. And that's 100% true. Make sure that you're in positions that you do believe in. And right now, we're just going to test it. I know I have a lot of shares, but we're going to test it right here at 81.60 on the futures and then really just hope to get a push back down. 181.30 would be great. 181.20 is the best. So we're going to get stopped out if it breaks above 80s here, though. Short leash on this trade, but hoping for it to become a banger. We'll see.
You know, I just realized I forgot all about. Remember 2 days ago, it was on Thursday, the last I traded was QuantumScape had that big rally. I didn't realize that QuantumScape continued that on Friday. Should have been checking it. But shout out to everyone that pointed this one out. The QuantumScape's about to break out a double top here. So higher lows, double top. Haven't done any work on it as if there's any continuation. But it was Volkswagen and QuantumScape, yada, yada, yada. More orders, that was going to be the story, so that's probably just a continuation play. But a breakout of this top has a pretty decent gap that can be filled. I am in AMD now. We are in Riot. DJT got the quarter mark, but then couldn't hold on. So Riot's starting to roll over. I don't have bids till it breaks underneath 1140, and then we have some in the mid 30s, low 30s, and then the low 20s as well. AMD is the other thing. We just rolled into the trend line there. It just came down to 180.40. So we're getting some into the low of the day. But as things come down, like I just showed you two shorts that did work, DJT loses VWAP. So we get in, it gets to the $0.50, and then it immediately loses VWAP. So no big breakout, not going to hold on to it. The whole thesis was I want to see buyers above. There was no point that it even looked like a good reload above VWAP on DJT. So the short's starting to come back in here. AMD already 30 cents in the money, and then Riot as well working back into the downside.
Oh my.
You're getting a lot coming back in, now accelerating. I said 30, now it's 50, as we're about to get the 180 fill on advanced micro devices.
Look, sometimes trading like 10x is a problem, but TQs right now, today, so far so good. We'll stick with this, man, as here it comes. Pulling back in. We just gave you this trade, man. This is exactly what we just talked about. I just sat here and built this trade idea to you guys, and I said if we can get 81.30s, we'd be doing pretty darn good. So let's take some more out right there. We're now out of 40% of that one, and there it is. This trade just right here goes to number one. So again, it could still blow up in our face. I mean, we've sat here and celebrated things before, and then been able to not get out in time. But there it is, man. Focus on it. I talked about this with Obi, and I think this is what's really changed for him as well. And he'll be on the show, I'm assuming at some point in the future anyways, where we could talk about this more with him. But it's about trying to find just that one trade, right? You don't need to trade 15, 30 symbols like I used to do on the show, which I've changed myself. For myself, I'm talking about. It's trying to find the best opportunities and then really layering into them and using the shutdown that we have, using the buying power and all of that to really make sure that if something happens, we're able to actually capture it and put some damage onto the names. So yeah, again, okay, here comes Nvidia. Right, but I'm going to take a bid here as well. We were bidding 60s. Let's just take something in the 80s. See, that just dropped again. Hard to look at all these names at once, but congratulations, anybody that's in this TQ trade. And I want to thank you, if you are, for believing in that, because we were there, we were talking about it. We were getting a little nervous with this starting to edge back in a little bit right there. But hey, man, this is what trading's all about. We're here to put on some positions, make some money, and hopefully be able to educate yourself and ourselves to get bigger and better. So yeah, man, here it is. Nice moves, pulling back in now for the futures. Thank you so much, Sebastian, for that. I mean, I just want to thank everybody for watching. You know, being able to call a trade is one thing, and we could talk about that. I mean, this, like, the TQs is a good one for us here today. Amazon, we were looking short, and then we got, see, this is what I mean. We can take credit there, but I told you, boom, this put some damage on my P&L as Amazon just continued to fly downside. So yeah, anyways, celebrate the wins, celebrate the losses. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad that I was able to explain to you the TQs, what we were looking for. So now that we're in the 30s, let's start to get out, because really we won. So it's always nice to win. It's hard enough to do that in this space. So let's put some profits on the board here. This is the call that we made. Remember, we were short here at 60s. Our out was 80, so it's like 20 cents. So you're just right now 1-to-1 with upsized position. Definitely works. So let's get out and see if we can celebrate lower. But for now, that was a decent one. And then we'll see if we can get a fill on Nvidia. We missed that 50 period there. But look, the 200 holds again up there at 128.50.
The thing about like having a 200 period or a trend line or like a VWAP or something along those lines is, remember, if you're with the trend and if your stop is, like, say, the top of the trend line or a consolidation like AMD here, the good news is if it continues to trend down, then suddenly you can go from I'm stopping out here at 180.80 to, as we continue to trend down, it's kind of a moving target above that trend line. So now it's like break even on the rest of this and we're good to go as long as the trend holds. But I would look for almost like a re-entry. This pattern has been pretty good. Now, I was long off of VWAP into it and we didn't really go short until like late on AMD, but it's still looking like it works. About 180.50 to 180.60 would be a re-entry if we do end up getting it. So just continue the trend as long as it's there. We want to hold on. If you break fresh lows on AMD, it's not as if there's anything gigantic out there. You've got Friday's bottom, which is essentially 180 we're at right now, and then you've got 177.5. So that's a pretty wide gap. Call it 178 that you've got room into the downside. Riot is a totally different story. Like Riot's down 1130 and then 1120. That's where my bids are. So it is pulling back off that double top at 1150 here, but it's still holding higher lows. This is actually trending into the upside, which is why I think scalp out into what is the previous support level. So market coming back in. You might not get that reload on AMD, but that's where my eyeballs are going to be. If this trend continues to hold, I want to have it every time it gets back into the top of the trend line and then work into the low of the day. Just try to keep it as simple as possible. Now down 1%. And we talk about switching it up. I started long at this level on AMD, and then I was long at VWAP. But once it showed lower high, that was this failure right here. You just got to be able to jump away from it. Did not go long after it failed that, because that was confirmation of that resistance line. I did get up from my desk, but then didn't even get it at VWAP. Don't go FOMO just because you missed that one, you missed that one, you missed that one, you missed that one, and that one. It doesn't mean you don't take. If it's like 6 times it tops that trend line, you still take it to 7th, even if you missed all 6. That's the way I see it. So low of the day here on AMD, down about $1. Tesla still not looking. Never mind. Tesla about to lose support as well. 257. If it doesn't hold that, you could be in trouble. One of these stronger names out here. If the market is going to make any attempt at a higher low, I'd still prefer to be long Tesla than anything else. I'd be looking for this to hold 57, then break out 60 or something into power hour. But the shorts are winning right now. I wouldn't be forcing any longs. And if you are, you could do worse to look at a crypto name. As if you got down to 1110, I might consider reversing on Riot.
We're trying to be patient here, man. So, all right, let me just lessen the shares here, down here at 06s. Let's see what happens with the TQs. We just bounced off the 50 period. I was waiting at 06 like an idiot, I think. When that was at 14s, it just got as low right there as 10s. We should have had a fill down in here. So yeah, I'm still feeling good about it. This position alone that we're holding could make our whole day, so we're fine. Just need it to continue. And whenever that happens, I'm gonna take a piece out right here at 25. There it is. I don't want to miss something down here. So we'll just take out a small piece. I'm taking out like 2% at a time here. It's nothing. We'll see what we can do back down to the downside here on the TQs. But like I said, you got to have some kind of conviction when you trade. And I'll do my best to tell you guys when we're in a big position. And I told you that this was a big one. So there it goes to the downside. We'll celebrate back and forth. But that was a good trade there. And then we did get this trade as well. So we'll go bang through the dollar there on Nvidia as it just pulled back into the 50 period. So we did good, sort of reloading that out. We should have had something out down here again. I'm going to try to hold Nvidia just to see. Again, I think if the market does hit its skids here, Nvidia probably takes down this 127, and then we can go double wins, right? So like from this TQ's position into something on the NASDAQ would be really nice. So Apple, again, was positive earlier on, and I still think is. Up 1.6%. This was a funny one. We were long early, made some money, and then really got out right there at the bottom of 233.50. I don't know exactly what was up with that. But that one now below VWAP. So what I was saying was I think Apple's still up, but look, this is trying to go down. So we get anything here, 235 or so, we are going short on this one as well. Come on, TQs, man. This is going to be possibly another one here. So this is a big trade. We're 40 cents in the money. Our stop can now be right here if we want, which is flat. Big trade alert here, and I'm glad that I had mentioned it. So good movement so far on this spot. Let's see. Uber loses some sort of a lawsuit. Let me just see what that's doing right now. I still think that 64, 65 was probably a buy, but absolutely nothing happening right now with Uber. Again, a lot of tax-related issues with that. How do they have to pay their drivers and whatnot? So, so Uber right now just kind of chilling. Again, weaker than the market. So for me, I'd look for a short, but it's actually, to me, charting as a long. So here at $72, we'll look to see if we can do something with that one. It looks like the futures did want to bounce here off the 50 period. So it is good that we did take one out. We didn't get our second one down here at 17s. It only went to 19s. So let's try again. Let's cancel the 17s, put something out here, high 20s, and then we'll just work it from there. Looks like the futures want to bounce back. We just bounced off the 50. That's not a great sign. So I would have rather hit VWAP like we sort of did than take it and retest the lows. Did not happen. So good couple outs right there. Let's adjust our stop on these TQs.
So shout out to the chat for mentioning, I don't see anything on NVAX today, but NVAX is up 15%. I know why crypto names are up 15%. I can wrap my head around that. I don't think any of us are surprised by it, but I don't see any new news on NVAX as we speak. And I'm looking at where it's at on the daily chart, and barring any reason for it to be doing this, like 15 to 15.5, like that would seem to me a bit of a short zone. It's just a short float squeeze type name. Just going to double check. I don't know it off by heart what the short float is. 21%, so it's still pretty decent. They report August 6th, so there's probably an upcoming catalyst there at some point for NVAX. Certainly, it's had a history of kind of dumping after days like this, and it's at $15. It just put in a wick. I'm going to see what locates are here at Real Trading. I know some people would tell you, oh, we couldn't even go short NVAX if we wanted to because there's no locates. We can. I'm going to guess it's probably less than, it'll be fractions of a penny per share. And if I see that 15.50, any kind of rejection up there, I would at least look for it. I'll price it out. But before we get to that, AMD is about to get back into the top of that trend line, which is, like I said, it's a moving target. So it'll be lower highs all the way through. It's now about 180.40. So if it gets through 180.50, I get out. At this point, that would mean that we got in at 70s here or at 62s in front of like 75.80. But that would mean we get out of these 62s just underneath break even. So it's about to test the top of that trend line. So AMD, if it fails here like we did here, like a wick above, then hold lower, jump right back into the short. So it's at that confirmation level. So I'm not standing in front of it. If you note, it gets to the level, shows a wick, and then I'd want to enter. Shows a wick, and then I want to enter. So it's at that point right now on AMD. So you just have to be patient. If it breaks out from there, I'm not going to be reloading into a moving freight train. So while that's happening, I'm going to price out Novavax. I'll double check to see if there's a reason it's up 15%, but squeeze names don't need a reason to go up. We've known that for a while.
Yeah, we talked about that with Michael Noss today about looking for some short float ideas, and he brought to everyone's attention MindMed. Let me just check what MindMed's doing. MNME right there. And
I think I still have some of that stuff.
Reddit as well, up 5%. Yeah, I think I have MindMed down 90% probably in my account, so that's been a disaster. But MindMed...
Oh, I'm down more than 90%, I think.
Yeah, okay, so you win.
Well, I think so. I don't know.
If you're down more than 90%, you win.
I think.
Okay, so Neil wins that one. We'll wait to see what happens here with Alibaba, one of the weaker names, but we didn't even short this today because it's not that weak anymore. Into the morning was its sort of destruction, and then it made its way all the way back at 78.60 tops for Alibaba. I'm actually turning that frown upside down and maybe thinking about going longer as we get to the downside there. So the TQ's almost got to a reloaded spot. We're trying to reload at the same spot, basically, right now if we can, as we just take that in. It gets about 10 cents away. We could have reloaded that to the downside, but now let's take advantage of a little bit of a downside push here, just in case. Like, you know, we're not going to hit tops and bottoms every day, but we're going to try. And so right here, we think we did good getting this position, but let's make sure that we do that. And there it is right there. It is the hot dog cannon trade for you right now. It's great to show you the big trades live on the show. Like that's, you know, to me, that's the thing. Sometimes they happen during lunch. Most of the time they'll happen right off the open, but we showed you some good trades there off last week. Here's a big one off the open for Tesla as that went $11 or $12 before eventually we got out on a 260 break back down for $7 right now. But here we go. Hopefully the TQs can go down. We tried to show you why we had confidence on here, and I think we did a pretty good job doing that. So let's now see if it continues to move. The best part about trading the TQs is huge return because it's triple what the NASDAQ is. And also these lines are very fluid. So we got to keep on watching them as price movements go back and forth. Miss Adara, what up?
This part of the show brought to you by Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
FFIE.
Thank you very much there. Adara Faraday making moves. Darwin saying FFIE.
Ooh, no.
Asking about Randy. I mean,
Randy may be driving his Faraday.
Maybe he is. It apparently is going, though. Yeah, it's 21%, just broke 50. What's going on here? 50 period. This is a good resistance level on Faraday. I don't know the reason. I'll double check. Actually, I'm just going to type it in right now while we're here because I was looking for Novavax first. I'm just going to pop in FFIE. There doesn't have to be a reason for something like this to squeeze higher. No, nothing is populating. Like Friday is the last story. They're holding an investor day in Los Angeles on the 20th, but I mean, the 20th is like another 5 days away. So I don't see anything on Faraday as to why it is going right now, but it's breaking out on volume. That was a 50-cent clean break. So congratulations if you had a reason for getting in to Faraday. I would suppose previous triple top breakout, it would be almost a quad top. If you pull back in, look for a dip buy long at that price. But yeah, we'll keep our ear to the ground. If there's anything on it, I think you found one. It's running. It's over. The good thing about a penny stock is Faraday's done 150 million. I think I just saw. I just flipped back over to AMD, but you know, for a penny stock, you want it to be in the hundreds of millions of shares. We've talked about that. Every now and then, we'll show you guys something, or we'll get everyone interested in some kind of penny stock. Hey, this is running, and it's done like 1.5 million shares and it's 25 cents. But 150, that's really good on Faraday. That's something that's worth trading for sure. So good luck with that. Don't really see any catalyst for it here today, but a breakout's a breakout, and it's got a decent short float as well. But AMD got it to the top of the trend line. Again, this time it's at 180.40 would be the top of that trend. So we add back in here in the 30s, and we'll look to continue that trend back into the downside with advanced micro devices. As long as it holds this, we want to play it. So we're in. If it breaks 180, we'll get some out. And I'm going to see what's going on with this Faraday, because suddenly this is the thing that's actually making like squeeze moves to the upside. I just wonder where a top could be on Faraday. Nothing until you get to about 70 cents. Like resistance is at 70 cents. That's like 30% from here. You got room to rally on Faraday.
All right. We did. I mean, we did get it. Props up to putting bids out. I mean, we got it. We got that bid at 32. We talked about sitting there, right? I mean, you sit there, you get them. I still want this market to get a little bit lower and lower and lower. We do have Michael Noss coming through with us on the market recap show. As today the NASDAQ, it started to go to the downside a little bit here as Fed Chair Powell finished his speech. I think it was around 12 o'clock or so. The drift to downside began at 1 o'clock today. So nice move to the downside here for the TQs on the daily. But again, you're still real high up. Let's see if it wants to fade out. We do have some more bids on NASDAQ. I was still looking, coin on Nvidia, sorry, the NASDAQ is what else we're trading. I'm still thinking that this could be a short at 243. I just remember last time we looked at it, it was 10.9%. Now we're 11.04. So this still wants to go higher, but that 243 is something interesting. Would rather play that to the short side, to the long side. So if we get to VWAP, Alibaba, it's all the same names hitting here today. We do want to buy some. We're still long Starbucks, but it's come right back in now on our account. So we'll have to wait to see if Starbucks does hold the 72 area. You can go all the way back way far for 72. We just back to May for the most recent time, bounce back to 82. We'd take that again if that could happen. But there are some, might take too long to load. But I like Starbucks down here at there it is, at some of these levels. So this goes back down to, again, the 2000s. So back in COVID areas where you have $70,000 down there. Faraday still going 54 cents right now.
Looks like that Nike opportunity.
Yeah, Nike looks good too down there. I'll pick Starbucks.
Well, Starbucks is better than Nike.
Is it?
No, the charts, yeah, the chart's better on Starbucks.
Okay, so Nike. I mean, I know Lululemon's been left for dead as well.
Yeah.
There it is right now. Let's go, man. It is DJ Colin time because it is trying to go to the downside. Let's see if the TQs will keep going down. I know DJ just right there mentioned it 3 times. We're going to put another bid at 30s right here to take. Oh, nope, we got to get it. It doesn't really matter what gateway you use on this. It's going to run you through anyways. So we'll get there, see if we get paid to add liquidity. It missed us there. There it is. So there we go. We get that fill again to get some more out as we battle back, baby. A few good trades is all it takes. And so far here today, in this afternoon, it's been Nvidia and it's been the TQs. And the one live trade that again, we mentioned to you that it was going to be a big position, and it was. And thankfully, it's been working, is this trade right here, the triple Qs. So nice downside push. Wait for it. Go Starbucks or go broker. How about both? Right there as we went, my mother gave a Starbucks gift card that she found to my daughter. It was $5. So she uploaded that on her app. So that's $5 that I save every single time they go there. All right, 209 and
penny
change.
Saved is a penny earned.
Yeah, exactly. Then she likes to use the app and get her points and everything like that. So that's cute. 9 years old. Crazy. Man, she's an absolute animal. She got player of the week at her camp. She goes to camp with all dudes, hockey camp, and gets player of the week. Like it's older kids too. Unbelievable. Really love her. She's out there. She did 250 shots again yesterday after also doing baseball practice. But amazing. Then my son, of course, a little rained on at golf camp, but he is back in.
It didn't rain that long yesterday.
No, yesterday
it was on and off. It just kind of came and.
Yeah, it was in the afternoon. I think it was like 2 to 5 or so.
We had just set up we literally bought a bouncy castle. We put it up. My nephew and daughter were playing on it for like 30 minutes, and then the rain came. We took it down. It's like, and we could have put it on in the late afternoon, which is kind of annoying. This FFIE doesn't seem to want to pull back into 50 cents. So you can see here, there hasn't been a dip for a consolidation on Faraday. It's about to break the 55 level without a dip back into 50, 51. I don't necessarily want to break out at 55, but with this volume, I'd rather buy dips into 51 if it presents itself, but a 55 break, it's 70 cents is resistance on the stock. So it might be worth a couple of shots in here, as this is the name that is going. I can look at DJT, but DJT got above VWAP, went essentially 40 cents and then failed it. AMD, the lower high, once again, all right, now you're on the other end of the trade. So when it's going up, I back off, and then when it bounces off the trend line, then enter into the short, scalp some out, look for re-entries when it fails the trend. So we're right back into that pocket on AMD. Riot is a different story because Riot is a triple top at the same level at the high. So Riot's about to come right back into that top. If it breaks the high, jump out of the trade, no questions asked. So I'm really only looking at 3 names. Riot, AMD, and Faraday. Shout out to you, Long This. Appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. Guys, I like using support and resistance levels. How far back is too far, for example? Nike hasn't been at this level since 2020. Not chasing a falling shoe, but have some interest. For a retail name specifically, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking at 2020 levels for obvious reasons on Nike because they're pandemic bottoms. Like, that's significant. Like, there's nothing worse for retail than that pandemic low. And this is when you zoom out. I'm pretty sure I said this on Nike earnings. Like, if it got down into here at 60s, that's almost like a no-brainer support level. That was as bad as things could get. Nobody was going anywhere. Nobody wanted to buy. Then everyone realized, hey, they can buy online and a bunch of money's getting popped into the market. Let's go. So I think you can't go back too far, especially if it has another reason for significance. And a big event is a good thing. So big event being a pandemic low, obviously $60 to 62 would be some support. You're a ways away from that right now on Nike. Let's be real. Like, Nike has some work to do to get to those levels, and most of us don't want it to actually go down there. Okay, so here comes, at least for now, to the downside, this FFIE, looking for some kind of a bid in here. If it holds 53, it can be 53. I'd prefer 51 for obvious reasons. Like, it's a triple top at 50 before it broke out. So something tight to the 50 level would be a much better entry point in my estimation. So we'll see what happens. I think you still have a chance to get into it. Oh, AMD just did the dipsy-do. So AMD just did the old dipsy-do where it broke that support and came right for resistance and then broke right back underneath it. So it wicked me out, and then came right back underneath that resistance level. So I'll give it one more shot in here, right to that local high. Still not going to get into Riot just yet, but it is Faraday, which is on my mind on this pullback. There you go. Now it's starting to get a little bit deeper here on Faraday. Volume's still pretty solid, but it popped underneath 53, a couple more cents, and I think you can get a test down at that 51 level. Looks like it could be a good one. My eyes are also over at Tesla. I don't want to get off the Faraday level too, but Tesla holding that 257 line, still trending into the downside. But if you were to draw a trend line, let me show you like this. Like, if this gets above 260, that would be a pretty clean break of trend here on Tesla. I want to make sure I save that so the next time I look at that chart for you guys can see the trend on Tesla. All right, 52 starting to come in. If you're being patient with this, you don't just want to sit on the bid. I'd like to see it maybe consolidate for a minute or two, show some kind of a distinct bottom, or we're still looking for that breakout at the top over here on FFIE. I pivoted from DJT to this, as you can see, DJT, and enter a few times. Still underneath VWAP, so this one's kind of done. We had that breakout, didn't want to go, got to 1-to-1, took it out at 1-to-1, and then we moved on to the next. I feel like that's going to be Faraday here on the dip. But I have to be patient. If I like it at 50, I want to wait for it to break down at least to 51.5 or 52. There we go.
We can take a quick look at some crypto right here if we can. Do I have it? Coin. What do I use again? I can't even remember what I use. Oh, yeah, CoinGecko. That's what it was. I just want to make sure because I had the in my portfolio in here, just of the names, not my portfolio, but the names that I look at, I guess, in here. Let's just
watch list.
Watch list. Yeah, I guess that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that's the right way to use it. So this is just the top. Again, I'm not logged in here. I need to do a better job of doing that. But there it is, 6% there for Bitcoin, nice 7%, 6.5% for Ethereum. We like that. Binance, wow, up 7 and a bit. Solana, let's go. We got some more Solana unstaked over the weekend because we're going to be dumping some of that. And we actually wind up selling some about 152, 153. So we'll lose on that, but we did sell some more Solana as we've been staking that. XRP flat on the day. Dogecoin up 7. Cardano, what's the matter you? Right now, only up that 1.3% for Cardano. And then Shiba Inu up 7, as those dogs are pretty cute. I see many of them walking around. Okay, Danielle Shea will be here when she gets here. No worries on that one. Pepe coin, what's up, Pepe? Right there, nice one, up 18%. Gotta love that Pepe coin. All right, so again, good, wicked day. Congratulations, anybody. Awesome comeback for crypto, as we mentioned, Bitcoin getting down into the 55, 54 area which was scaring a lot of people. And you're almost back to highs again, 10,000 off of that. Bitcoin high 73 and change, 74. We'll see what's up with that. All right, so another whoopsies, get rid of that. Another reload happened right there. It didn't quite get into the 50-period moving average to get a significant part out, but you can see now we're starting to really respect the 50 the other way. So this is a danger. Watch
Get on the
yourself.
floor.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to have to wait to see what happens here with the TQs.
Actually, get on the floor would be good.
Yeah, that would be really great if it does that. But
Isn't that guy in jail?
We'll wait. Mystical?
Yeah.
He's not in jail, is he?
He went to jail.
Oh, well, yeah, so did I. But here we go, 81.40 just for visiting. 81.44, nice move to the downside right here. Let's go and figure this out. No, I think with, I really want to go to, I've actually never been to a jail cell.
Alcatraz.
Yeah, I was going to say the state.
My wife did Alcatraz.
No, yeah, Alcatraz would be great. I have to travel to San Francisco, but just the Kingston. It's closed now.
Yo, I played at that Diamond.
Yeah,
so
they do tours there.
There's back in the day, there's like a jail outside of the GTA in Kingston, and there's a baseball diamond that a lot of times like the Brampton rep team would play there. So you'd be playing, and it's right next to the courtyard.
Yeah.
But they the good news is they wouldn't let them out in the yard while like kids are playing baseball. But you're literally like 50 feet away. Like if you're on the field, you're 50 feet away from the fence. It's kind of a weird diamond to play
Vance
at.
is the running mate.
It's announced?
Yeah. So apparently Bloomberg has reported that JD Vance. I don't know. I mean, hello, I'm Canadian. I have absolutely no idea who that is. So congratulations, JD Vance. Sounds like Vance Automotives.
Senator of Ohio.
Vance Automotives. Oh, Senator of Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
young guy.
I literally am pulling up Wikipedia, guys.
Young guy.
We're Canadian, so it's not like I know anything.
Yeah, you don't know who he is.
Ohio. He's a Marine, so went to Ohio State University, go Big Ten. I'm more of a Michigan State fan than anything else, but yeah.
All right, let's see if that happens to DJT anything right now. I don't know. Like, again, you guys tell us. I don't know if this is a good pick or what.
Oh, they're saying battleground state, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Ooh. Irrelevant. Okay, so nice move down. I mean, if Adara knows more about this guy, apparently, is what just told me in my ear. Apparently, so here it is right here. We do have Benzinga Pro, of course, as a sponsor. So there it is right there. Trump picks Ohio Senator J.D. Vance as his running mate. Cited source, Bloomberg. It's Bloomberg one more time coming up with that. So no story attached, just that is what it is. So we just tell it to you like it is. If you do want to subscribe to Benzinga Pro.
Holy crap, he does look like Tyler Labine, Matthew Booth.
Okay, good job, Matthew. No,
Booth. Tyler's a Canadian actor. I don't know why you even mentioned that. I grew up like 10 minutes away from this Canadian actor, Tyler Labine, and he looks exactly like the guy. Adara?
Amazing.
Some further comments here from this Donald Trump pick. So apparently Truth Social has also publicized now that this is Donald Trump's pick for vice president candidate here. It's going to be, as we said here, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, just clarifying this, not only reported by Bloomberg, but also apparently confirmed on Truth Social, which is, of course, part of the Trump Media and Technology Group, DJT stock here, guys, as well.
All right, so good pick. We'll see tonight. I mean, obviously the Republican RNC is happening right now in lovely Wisconsin. Shout out to the Badgers and, of course,
Ron Dane.
The Packers coming through one more time this year, hopefully with a good one. All right, so the TQ is making that move in. Hopefully, we did just reload right there. So, all right, so apparently on True Social, I guess Trump has posted it. This is what I'm just hearing in my ear, that is going to be the pick. So, yep, good job there. Thanks, Adara, for that 42.5 and change coming through for DJT. So I would say Steam obviously coming out of this name. We haven't traded that today. I believe this is a red name on the floor. But DJT right now today, good trade, but you get a lot of excitement early, and it kind of faded, right? So we'll see what happens here into that. The market seems to like it, I guess. Certainty is better than uncertainty. So right now, we do get the TQs trying to bounce back up. That's the daily chart. We're right here right now. We could get stopped out of this. We're very, very close. I mean, these levels, I was going to use like 76 maybe as an out right there. So there we go. We'll take the short. We do not have to be in this for a very long time, man. This could just blast through here on more news. So again, difficult to judge how a running mate affects the market, but it makes sense, right? I don't know enough about Mr. JD's,
I would guess if he was,
policy.
like if he was moderate, maybe that would be like a good balance or something.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know we don't know his politics.
Is he big for oil? Like, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, if he's going to be the mid Ohio, then I don't think he's going to be pushing, maybe like if he picked somebody like Rubio or something like that, who was also rumored at one point. If he picked, some of the stuff that he said about Rubio, if he picked him, I thought that would be really funny. But okay, here we go, man. This is politics. So we'll discuss it in respect to the market and what it means. But there it is. There's the big short right there for the TQs. Let's see if we can get just some more out here as uncertainty is now hit, in my opinion, anyways. So we'll keep on sort of massaging this position and seeing if the tank continues tank. It's not tanking at all. See if the downside move here continues in the market. But yeah, just holding the short on the NASDAQ and the short here in Nvidia. Nvidia working a little bit better than the market though right now.
Yeah, that Faraday is trying to make that breakout. DJT, as we said, it did absolutely nothing except wick VWAP again. This might just be a short off of VWAP more than anything else. Like, look at it, just ride VWAP. You got what I think was maybe the catalyst that everybody was waiting for. I would suspect, like everyone was talking about, hey, you're going to get the pick in the announcement and you get some spike. It spikes right into that line and another reversal here for DJT. So if you get back up to 42, you have to pay for locates, but trust me, they were dirt cheap. 1/8 of 1 cent per share here at Real Trading at least. I'll get to FFIE, but no reload for me on Riot. Done it before, higher lows into Riot. If it breaks out that top, I'm just getting out of the trade. We're short 47. The top is like 54, 11.54. So Faraday, likely the next thing. If it breaks, I still like a 55 breakout. So we'll go for a breakout at 55 as well. But if the market holds lower highs, I do want something back into VWAP if we can catch it. DJT doesn't qualify as something that follows the market. I understand, like, yeah, it's rejecting VWAP, but I'd like something that pulls back into VWAP. I'm going to look at Amazon here. Amazon broke a slight trend that it had in the afternoon, but Amazon 193 was a pre-market low, was kind of support last week, and like right around that 193, you'd have a VWAP potential failure on what was the weakest of the Mag 7 names. I haven't really checked them all, so I'm not going to pretend that I've looked at Meta in the last little bit, but certainly this morning, Amazon, the reversal, at lunchtime, Amazon's reversal was pretty nasty. So this 193 looking like a good spot. 193 to VWAP if the market's going to make any kind of a lower high. But the FFIE hasn't broken out 55 just yet. 54.72, the current high. Just a matter of time. Either it's going to fail to 51 or it's going to give a breakout at that 55 even for us. About 30 cents, and we'd look to go short in Amazon.
We have, check out this. This is at our grocery store right here. The LCBO, the Liquor License Liquor Control Board of Ontario, right now on strike. So you used to be able to get beer and whatnot in the grocery stores. There's certain amounts of places that you can buy liquor outside of the government and the regulated spots. There is the beer store, nicely named for those of you that are here.
I wonder what they sell there.
The beer store sells beer, and so does grocery stores, but no liquor anywhere right now in Ontario other than what is underneath my bed. But no, I don't. The thing is that I guess people drink a lot. Obviously, as we were, I haven't looked at the liquor stores in a very, very long time, but they are closed. I'm more worried about restaurants not being able to get what they need for everybody out there, but you can just short the market and get a little bit of this as I realize my shoelaces are untied. But there we go, 81.50, nice downside push there on the TQs to come back through. So
I want to invest in beer stores as a millionaire.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's what everybody.
No, what they charge us too is it's just a different system up here.
Remember
so
our
remember
our free healthcare. If you indulge in anything here, whether or not it be food, clothing, if you pay taxes, that would be another thing that does not help us with our free healthcare. Also, if you drink. If you smoke, if you breathe air.
Dude,
also.
the job security at the LCBO, like it's actually, I know a couple people from our high school that work there. They're kind of laughing. They're doing way better than you'd think.
Oh no, I'm for LCBO. I want them to strike because honestly, all the money that is going to go to private places like 7-Eleven and all that.
That's good for them.
That's taking away from Neil's surgery. Because right now, all the money that we spend on ridiculous amounts of taxes goes into healthcare. So right now, you're going to take away money from the LCBO and give it to 7-Eleven. The LCBO is the government. So I'd rather have more money going to the government to help pay for free healthcare that we have around here. So that would be something for me. But again, I don't. I'm not a purveyor of much booze. So
I only waited 7 hours when the one. Obviously, it was an emergency. Thankfully, everything worked out. But you get what you pay for. Let's leave it at that.
7 hours
Amazon,
is great.
No. It was, and you know what? The dude, there was 4 people that were waiting for a surgeon from the morning, and there was a big time accident emergency that he was in for 5 hours a case. Let's just say not everybody that was waiting was very patient about it. I'm like, all you got to do is lay down with your IV and chill out on your phone while he's going to save somebody's leg. I'm like, come on, what do we complain about? I'm like seriously, that's what I'm complaining about. I had my MRI and the surgery, as far as I'm concerned, was the same week. So I count my blessings on that because I could have waited a heck of a lot longer. And when somebody has a more serious issue, ultimately it's just an Achilles for me. So I wasn't ready to complain about, okay, Amazon just came in, that 193 is coming into play. So we're going to short this one back into VWAP. But I think you got to count your blessings. Jameson saying Apple short 234. Well, Amazon's weak and down 1%. I don't doubt that Apple's probably a good level at 234. 234? No, Apple's at 235. You probably just a typo there. 235 is VWAP and Apple, but it's up 2%. Amazon's down 1%. That's the distinction I'll make. It's basically the same setup from a VWAP standpoint. I just think Amazon is the weaker name. And Jameson, I like that name. I just hope the namesake in football does some things because I got him in both leagues. Talking about you, Jameson. Unless you want him. He's available.
I'm on Raw. I have him in my other pool, too. The guy's been...
You want him.
Yeah.
He's been a bit of a bust.
I have like 16 keepers as it is. There's other idiots in our pool that have none. So, all right. So here we go. TQs to the downside, as it just broke higher. So we're still positive on it, but there's that break higher. Remember we had said it's holding the 50 period, so we need to get some out. So again, out there, out. So we'll give some back, but again, still the number one name here for trading on the desk will be TQQs. And again, glad to be doing that, man. The futures really are making a lot of sense. But we just talked about how times have just changed. We got that update. And I feel like, although politics is very sensitive, especially these days, when it relates to the market, it is something to definitely pay attention to. So that's something that we're going to look at. And maybe we said that we would look at the TQs if it got closer to VWAP. We just spiked up there to 83 and VWAP's at 82. I'm normally shorting somewhere around there. Remember, we got out on 76 or 71. So I'll tell you the price I got. 75. So I guess it was a 71 break or so. I thought it was 76, 75 break. So we basically get the penny that we wanted, even better, as we got out at a 76 breaker. On our last reload was 65s. So we'll have to wait to see on that one where we go for this. But again, trying to put together some decent trades back on the board right now. 81.85. I still like the short on the NASDAQ, but yeah, we are acknowledging that times have changed here a little bit. I still have 75% of the trade. I do want to put some more on though right now to see if it does get back up to that 82. I still like the short here. We didn't break through VWAP. Let's try to be patient. All we had to do there was, again, we're trading a lot of shares, right? And so if it breaks, then I need to get out and then try to reassess, because last thing you want to do is, and again, we talked about going red on Amazon today, as it was a great stock long, and then honestly, I thought we were going to hold this level. When we didn't, it was really getting out here at 193, and then we chased it a little bit more down. Now it's all the way back, which is real nice. Looking to take the 50 period. But if you're going to put on big shares on a stock, you have to be able to get out. And you need to make sure there's enough liquidity and whatnot. So that's what we're trying to do here with the TQs. And that's why I like it, as opposed to the triple Qs, which is still fine. And we could probably trade the same amount of shares realistically, because I don't think I'll go over like 1,000 shares would probably on this be pretty close to a max position, depending if the market was moving. That would be pretty good just for what I'd be comfortable with. But I just feel a lot better holding a lot more on TQs. So let's just stay with that. It looks like it's trying to go. I want to make sure that we're right about this. The VWAP there is 82. So we're going to give it up. That's where we went short the first time against 82.10s or so. So 82, we'll try to use that same little marker right into here. That's 82.15-ish. Then we had that wick up. All right, we'll address it when it gets up there, but we are going shorter here on the NASDAQ.
There you go. And, it's about 320. So we'll get imbalances in about 10 minutes or so. Sorry, early look on the imbalances about 10 minutes or so. Just reloaded FFIE. Still no 55 breakout. It's basically bouncing 53 to 54 half and looking for a 55 break on Faraday. You are running out of time for it. Look, like as I mentioned, 70 cents to 80 cents is a pretty big level for Faraday. But you're running out of time for it to do that kind of a move in the afternoon. So you got to be able to go station to station. That means tightening up the stop. I would have given it way more room if I thought it was going to 70 on a long here, but I'll stop it just underneath. Like it'll be like less than 1 cent for a reload on a stop because it's 320. So now it's a matter of, does it give you a dip in the VWAP where you can get something different, or do we break out at 55 even? But the scalp trade essentially gave you 1 cent to 1.5 cents, and that might be done. So Faraday, still a good volume, 175 million shares, looking pretty good. Amazon, still holding the pocket right at the 193 level. VWAP's in here at 192. I had one trade in Amazon. It was this short. It ended up losing just before we came back on air, actually. It was right before 2 o'clock. And then we just got into it off this 193. Don't really see anything going on with that DJT. It's actually dumping, so continuing to work to the downside. 30% here on DJT. And as I said on Riot, no reload. Nice. If it gets through the top, we just get out of it. Nice. So we had a long into the high. We shorted that same high. We're able to scalp it about 15 pennies, but it just broke the top. No reload. If it puts in higher lows, I'm not going to get it at the same level. If it's trending down, great. But if it's trending up, you got to have an out spot every single time. MSOS, I just heard, is going higher.
Yeah, Tilray is going, CGC is going. Maybe Kamala is going to start talking about weed again and then forget about it once they get elected. We'll see what happens right there. It's probably going to be a topic of discussion. Maybe even, I don't know. I don't think they'll mention it.
Maybe this guy has politics on
that. Maybe in Ohio. Yeah, we'll have to find out if it's legalized there. That would be a good point as well. Okay, so there it is, man. Yeah, we got reloaded and we talked about that. Let's flush these futures to the downside right now. As once again, man, here we go. We get out of 75% and then we got reloaded much higher. Not much higher, 83s. Nice move back in. Let's see. We do take a piece out now at 59. We're right back to the 200 period and to the 50 period MA. So now that I see that, reminding myself, we'll take some more 59s there, wait for 52s, and then if we get this move back down, then hallelujah, we'll get that back into the downside right now. Let's see if the market wants to do that. Greetings from South France. Greetings to you as well in what was rainy, but now beautiful apparently outside.
Thank goodness.
Toronto, Ontario.
The nurse told me like 5 times that this current cast I have can't even get a little bit wet.
Oh no.
It's
okay.
like, it's like infection risk because it's like a cloth now. So they're like,
well, a good way to get into staph infection is by staying at the hospital. So that's the thing you came out.
Dude, the guy next to me was on the phone. He was like, oh my God, I'm going to get a staph infection like laying around in here. I'm like, Jill, don't move out of your bed. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Okay, yeah, of course you'll be fine or not.
But
all right, so right there, yeah, good move down in the futures. I don't know what you're doing there.
Amazon just came back in, got first take, but it's sort of a similar story. You're getting a bit of a stair step into the downside. If we get up to 193, we'll look for a reload. I want the halves and quarters on AMZN. Apple starting to pull back in there. We'll get those early looks in just a hot minute.
Oh, yeah, it's
Tesla, unfortunately.
I want to get out.
Yeah, Tesla, it would have been interesting if it could have got to like 260 for a breakout. That was a pretty key level, but Tesla's going the other direction. It looks like a breakdown here on Tesla. We'll scratch that. I said I like Tesla for a 260 break this afternoon. As you can see, it's not breaking 260, and if it breaks 260, something very spectacular has happened with the market. I think it's going to be unlikely. I'll scratch that trade, at least temporarily. But still a pretty strong day, relatively speaking, for Tesla, at least in the way that it's holding up. Might have missed our opportunity there during the midday for a bit of a dip buy. So I'm going to reload in front of 193. We're able to get a quick little move down there on Amazon and strike Tesla away. Faraday might not have time to get to VWAP. I like 50 cents in VWAP and a break a little bit better, but you're really running out of time for it to either give you a bigger dip that you can run or a breakout of the 55. level.
I'll try to go through some scanners here. Texas Instruments. So we did good. We got out twice there on the TQs. I still waiting for lower. What can we do? My script failed actually. I got to make sure I don't have too many stop orders out for the TQQs. Well, let's go over Texas Instruments right now. I don't have any stops out right now. Okay, we'll get one out. Let's just do this together on the TQs because I thought I had a stop out, but it just said failed. So let's put one out. All right, so I was going to use VWAP. So we had sort of talked about this. We had gone through it right now. Again, you're trying to make some money here, right? So let's see if we can do that. 82.20, that little high right there is 82.36. That's too much. If the market gets going, it's going to get going. So I just wanted to use a little bit above VWAP, which VWAP is at, according to us here, 82.05. I just want to double check another platform here just to make sure where VWAP is. Again, yeah, they have 81.97. So, okay, so a little bit above. Let's go 82.10. So 82.11, we'll get stopped out. I've been liking using 75%. Saved us a little bit there on Amazon. We're able to make some money back as we got stopped out of the majority of it, but then held that last 25%. So that's something that I'm doing to help fight with my FOMO because a lot of the time we'll get stopped out. I'll be like, oh man, I got to bottom, and then it rips back up. So at least we'll have 25% back if that does happen. They don't have to pile in. My wife and daughter, apparently there's like a lot of like Instagram memes and stuff like that about Ohio. I mean, so they're going to be cracking up. When my wife finds out that this dude's from Ohio. All right, what's up, Adara?
Yeah, just be aware here of Ethereum getting a nice volume spike. We have ETF analyst at Bloomberg, Eric Balkunas, who has tweeted on these Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs in the past, saying that Nate Geraci, who was someone who had previously tweeted that we'd have Ethereum ETFs on the rise, saying Nate is correct. That they're hearing, Eric Balkunas hearing that the SEC has finally gotten back to issuers and is asking them to return final S1s by Wednesday with fees included. This is setting us up for a potential Tuesday, July 23rd launch of Bitcoin ETF or Ethereum ETF. So Eric Balkunas saying that we could be getting Ethereum ETFs by Tuesday, July 23rd. So in just a week, keep an eye on ETH getting that volume spike on that news, guys.
I really hope. We were just talking about that. I was going to say, I really hope your daughter is competitive at sports because honestly, traveling with your kids, doing sporting events is the best.
I feel like it's going to be track and field. I don't want to.
The best.
What is that about?
What?
You didn't see it go red? The screen just went red.
Nah, I focus on the trades right now. But
Ramram's messing around
here.
here.
Make the screen go red right there. There it is. So let's see what winds up. Hey, if that's making the market go down, then we'll take it, man. Make that screen as red as possible. As we only have a half hour left right now. And we're dug in, man. We keep talking about this. Again, a big position on the TQQ. So we have it now. It's not as big. It's about a third of our big position that we had right here. It's about a third of that position. So we're back into it because we got some out, right? So it's about half, and then now we're getting some out here. Let's see if it does crack lower. Let's, we're making some money back here this afternoon with both Nvidia and the TQs. Someone said that this Vance character voted against some EV stuff. So there it comes to the downside right now with Tesla. That would make sense again. So this is what we're talking about.
See, that's good to know.
Having to figure out, exactly where some of these political, possible, I guess, vice presidents land. Because if they're against certain things, then you don't need to get that happening in your portfolio. So again, I don't think it's time to rebalance anything yet or figure that all out. That's what makes November so interesting.
Apparently, marijuana has some. It is legal in Ohio. Like there is some. So I guess that would be because people were saying MSOS was going.
It is legal, you mean?
Yeah, MSOS
legal.
is at the hot. No, it's not really moving that much, but it did make a breakout. Like this is MSOS breaking out, kind of decent volume, I suppose, tapering off. It's only up 1%, but it did have a volume spike on the announcement. So it is good to know at least what's relatively strong week. Not great for the EV names, unfortunately. I think that kind of sucks. But then there's that whole Trump good for Elon specifically. I don't wonder how that plays into
someone just said Elon just congratulated this guy on X, so it's already happening, the pandering and everything. So
that's what they do.
Yeah, exactly, and it should be fine. You're allowed to do that, and it's just going to be so interesting. So I'm getting excited now because obviously, as the market starts to pick up here and we start to talk more about politics, we get more and more interested in what's going to happen at the end of the year. And I feel like volatility in the markets haven't gone anywhere this summer, And although you look at the VIX, you'd say, okay, that's because the market just keeps going up. Tons of trading opportunities every single day. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe every single day. Don't hit it every day, but definitely hit the like every day. You don't have to hit subscribe because you might unsubscribe. But you know what? Subscribing and unsubscribing is also good to do. So do that for us if you can. And again, let's go, man. Put it up. Let's see if we can get a move down now on the TQs, man. We spent some time on this. We do have a position, obviously. I'm going to take a little bit more out here as we come back in to the 50-period moving average with now targets right around here, 20s. Last time we targeted 30s, it happened. So I think, again, decent level. That was the bottom. We're lucky enough to do that. But the different situation was the fact that that's where the 50-period is. Now the 50-period is right here. So we're actually fighting some trend lines that I like to use. And I don't like to do that. So, again, we'll take 20 cents. We're short right here at 83s. It's at 53s. Did I say 20 cents? How about 30 cents right there? I know it's not huge, but it's a couple handles, man. If you're trading the futures with me, right now it's about 30 handles off that NASDAQ high. So let's continue to bleed lower here. And if you like this kind of talk, you want to know if we're putting on big shares or whatever. I mean, I'll try to tell you when we're in a position that we're a little more confident in. We said we had about a third of what we had up here the first time. So confident in it, but willing to hold it a little bit down on the futures into the close. Right now, Neil short Mara at 23. I don't know. I don't think so. I wanted the Mara long.
I got up to go to the bathroom, and it was 23. We ended the show before we go to just quickly do Adara. This was it at 23. The show ended, and I got up to go to the bathroom. And if it does, this is the move. If you don't make this trade, then I'm not making that one. It's just that simple. I could have come back and been like, oh, FOMO, but at that point it's trending up. That was your shot. It goes to 22.95.
Sure, it was 22, I think you made.
No, 22.95. This is 23.
No, earlier.
No, it was a long.
Oh, that was a long, okay. Yeah.
That was a long break on, which I wasn't really looking for a long break.
Where's the out? It looks like that green candle up.
No.
Oh, right there. I missed your cursor.
No, it's on the cursor.
That's what I had on Apple today. It's almost the same trade.
It's frustrating at the same time, but I was like, it has to get to 23 first, obviously. We're supposed to, Adara. Let's go to Adara or look at the board.
Lots of stuff happening here in this market, of course, lots of ups and downs. We're going to talk about some of the S&P 500 names making larger moves that maybe we haven't discussed as much today, including Goldman Sachs. They actually had earnings this morning, doing quite well, up more than 2.5%. Beating across the board for both revenue here and EPS. They also did have a dividend increase, so good look for GS with a $3 quarterly dividend. We also have Dollar General here, DG, sharply to the downside, getting a small price target decrease here from Argus Research with the buy rating maintained, but regardless, down about 4.5% here. Last but not least here, we have Qualcomm, QCOM. They do have still a neutral rating maintained by Citigroup, but they raised the price target from 170 to 200. So good look for QCOM. Quite a few names making some large moves today, guys.
I was saying to Sean, finally Morgan is really going on the daily here. But it was a laggard for so long, Morgan Stanley, and now breaking out above that $100 level. Like it, love it, but it's been pretty... Garbage isn't the right word. I had to zoom out way further. It looks like a great looking chart, but trust me, if I zoom out all the way back into the pandemic, which if I do that, it's probably going to take forever to load, guys. But I like the fact that it's breaking higher. You still have to wait for the report because Goldman comes first, and then Morgan Stanley tends to follow after. They're going to have a lot to hold up to. As I said, Goldman was already breaking those tops. So another reload. The only problem with the reloads on Amazon is it's about the same level, but just a little bit higher each time. First, you're topping out in around 85s, then you're getting 90s, and now you're getting 96, 97 up in here. So you are running a little bit higher. Early imbalance looks, individual names, CNQ, MO. There's a lot of questions about MO, so might as well go over that. 1.3 million to buy for Altria here. That's not really that big. It has done 4.6 million shares only, so as a percentage of volume, it's pretty big. 1.3 million notionally isn't that big of an imbalance. I'd expect that to pair off. You can see not much action here in Altria. Good trend to the upside, but that's the only name because CNQ, that shows up all the time, and then it'll just pair off when the imbalances come out. That's usually the case with CNQ, so nothing really standing out here on this board. I'd look to see if one of the big cap names does something. We've seen Nvidia a few times recently with rather large imbalances in the 2 to 5 million range. That's where my eyeballs would be, like Nvidia, Apple, Tesla, something on those lines. Amazon maybe could have something. If Amazon's a buy and balance, I'd just punch out, even if it doesn't break VWAP in here. But Amazon reload, we'll see if it can do it another time. Paula Blackford, Nvidia wasn't on that list. I'm not really looking at it. You're in Nvidia, so it wasn't on the imbalance list. I'll give you that.
Oh, no, of course not, because it's NASDAQ. So, yeah, Nvidia won't be on anywhere near that imbalance list until 350. So, yeah, that's the way that works. Thanks for asking there in the chat, of course. All right, so we're still going to roll 82, so we can almost leave that alone. Is there anything else? I mean, Tesla is the one that's really starting to get hit here, down to 255. This name was up 7% today. And we were talking about, oh, you know, we didn't short, sorry. We covered some of our long at 265 last week, and then it was like, oh, it's right back. And I was, starting to feel some of that FOMO. But then all of a sudden now, as the market pulls back in, man, the TQs just went for a little bit of a dip and then got bought back up. I apologize, guys. I mean, the shares, we have, X amounts here on this. So it's what I'm interested in. But Tesla right now, this is the 50 period, right? We talk about why we look at that. And when a stock is trending, this is the breaker of the trend, in my opinion. Right there, you got a break there. Now, we have to replay it back. I don't know where the 50 period was at this point. So it's tough to sort of, unless you have tick replay, which Trade Ideas, I think does. I know eSignal does, that I use.
I want to say yes.
So right there. But anyways, at the end of the day, it's continuing its move lower. And I just think that if you're like me and you want to try to put some damage up, you don't need to get out of this until it breaks there. There's one thing of getting out if you like the levels. I mean, we already went long down here at 53 earlier, and then got out up there. And then look what happens. It comes all the way down to the 50 period and then bounces. So that's, again, it worked there. Didn't work so well when it was upside, but then it started turning around as a short confirmation, right? And again, these are painted on prices that adjust as the market flows. So I'm not sure exactly where these were, but that's what I would use as a spot. And if we're going to look at the TQs right now, look at that. There it is right there. It is your chicken dinner winner for the afternoon right now. So here it goes, man. Nice move down. Let's take advantage of this. I said we wouldn't get some out, but when you got shares, you get some out. There it goes. Nice move back in. Let's see now if we can get going. 30 cents in the money. But remember, we were going to load up a lot more of this as we got closer to 82. We didn't get that opportunity, so this is not a full boat. It's pretty full, but it's not completely. So it's kind of like Noah's Ark. We're missing a couple animals here. So let's wait to see if we can go pick some up, go to that jungle and pick up some of those, whatever.
Welcome to the jungle.
Deadly snakes. Sometimes we'll watch Naked and Afraid. I haven't watched that in a minute.
A buddy sent me
crazy.
So if the market's going down, Amazon just got the $0.50, so I'm going to get some out there. And then if it gets to 192, I'll be on the bid at the 192 level. If 350 hits, it's not an automatic reload at 193 if the imbalances come out. Like if it comes out of buy imbalance, I don't think you reload this. That wouldn't make a heck of a lot of sense to me. So it's been a lot better at 193. I only had one trade on Amazon prior to this, and we shorted it down to like 190, 180 and got out for a 40-cent hit. So we were red on Amazon coming into the afternoon, and now we're turning it a bit around. But one of our buddies sent me, what are the top 10 all-time lead singers in rock? And I was like...
According to whose opinion?
I think it was like Rolling Stone or some nonsense. He was like, how many could you name? Knowing full well that I would probably be crap at it. I think I named I got 3 of them out of the 10. It was like I got Plant, and then I got Freddie Mercury, and I just figured Kurt Cobain would be popular, and he ended up being like number 10. I think I missed everything.
Really? Oh, I wouldn't have thought. I thought Freddie Mercury. I know that people.
He was 2.
Yeah, I mean they had that. Didn't they have was it Amazon or didn't they
I would put him 1
or something?
Yeah, it was the guy from Mr. Robot.
Rami Malek.
Yeah, that guy. Remy Malek.
Remy.
Whatever.
Remy Ma.
You guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, Robert Plant was number 1 and Freddie Mercury was number 2. I think those are easy ones. I'm an idiot for not. I didn't guess Mick Jagger because I was having a brain fart. He asked me when I was taking pain
that's what I was saying,
medication.
the stones.
I just completely forgot about the stones because I was on drugs.
Money, 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 money.
I mean, you might be thinking you're having some lucid dreams right now if you're short the TQs, because there it goes right there, man. You want to talk about this? This is now like monster stock on the desk. Hit the sirens up. Again, thank you so much for all you traders out there that are watching and commenting, because this is a good one here. We're really, really happy. This changed our whole day around right now on the TQs. And we talked about being one or two good trades. This is many of them as we just shorted the market. Now it falls back in. Let's go. Let's reap what we sow right there. And there it is, Neil. It is your biggest trade. Here's for Ozan. Apologize for getting excited, but like I said, man, you know, when you get winning trades, it is nice. And twice as nice is even better. Big short time right there. We talked about that. We talked about that. And then not as many shares, but a big move happening right now for us. As we just touched out, again, look where we wicked. I mean, if you don't think there's some muscle memory in some of these charts, then yeah, you definitely haven't been around this game long enough. I mean, it just wicked basically that exact same level right here, come like 81.13, 81.10. Why? There's probably answers,
Support
but
E resistance.
Move downside right there. So yeah, big time afternoon, and glad everyone's watching. We did not have Danielle Shea. I thought Danielle had mentioned that Mondays is a problem, but maybe that's just for the recap show. So hopefully everything is well, and we wish her and congratulate her on another child coming, I think in November, I believe.
Yeah, she mentioned November. I only remember because that's my mom's birthday was in November. I was like, yeah, fantastic. So we're excited for her. But she'll still be on the aftermarket show. She did say last week that she would be back on Thursday for the aftermarket show. Good. So barring anything.
Lots of earnings, so.
Yeah, we got earnings this week, which should be fantastic. Netflix are going to be reporting this week. You still have a couple of banks to work out. Netflix could be a big one. Nice little rally it had. I keep meaning to look at Disney. I haven't looked at the Disney chart recently. Whatever. It's only because I got out of Disney to get into Netflix, and I want to have a look back at Disney if I have some second thoughts. So with 340, still no push down in a 192 on Amazon. The only thing that we have left in here, it's holding underneath 192.5. You just want one more push to get down to that 192 even level. Looking like it's going to be weak down that 1%er. I don't think we have anything aftermarket,
Crank.
but I believe we have pre-market.
Yeah.
It's just
here. We have right now aftermarket, nothing tomorrow before market, nothing. So we're going to go to July 6th.
I thought Morgan was tomorrow.
And see, yeah, so before market open, we have BAC, we have UNH, we have Morgan Stanley. These are all coming tomorrow. So again, big Dow components right there. UNH, Morgan Stanley, BAC coming through, Charles Schwab coming through tomorrow morning, PNC and State Street. So all the big market caps are on financial services. Those generally kick it all off. So we'll have it join us every single day on the market recap show, 4 to 4:30. First 2 days, me. Next 2 days, Neil. And then we divide up the Fridays. So tag, you're it for Friday. No, did I do Friday or did you do Friday?
Well, I was in surgery, so I got Friday this week.
You're it.
By default.
Yeah, by default. So there it is, 81.75. Yeah, we will, we'll revisit those schedules obviously as we go, and we're trying to work around our kids' schedules. So 81.25, nice move down. And today, my kid gets back on the ice, so she'll be practicing again today, and then tomorrow's 3-on-3. So we won't be able to see those, but that is all good. 81.25. Look at this move down for the NASDAQ. I don't know. Hopefully my attitude and the way I present and host the show and talk doesn't change based on P&L, but we just did real good right there on this push back in. You want to try to make sure that you're just trading based on what you see and trying to give as much information to you guys as possible, and then just figuring out the levels. And we're pretty happy. We said that we'd get a lot of this out if it came back to 30. Well, there it is right now. It's 19s, 20s. Down goes the market right here. And yes, sir, this is now a monster right there for the TQQs. And like I said, it's a double-edged sword. You can trade more shares. When it goes against you, you take it right in the head. But when it comes in, it is a good one. So we'll celebrate good trades and then talk about bad ones. We talked about Amazon turned away. We wish we had more shares here on Tesla early on, but that was still a good one. That started our day off really well. But look at Tesla now, 253, coming back in right now. So, hey, man, You roll the dice, and sometimes it comes up snake eyes. But right here, the market down. We might just get out of some more here. Let's just do that. We'll bid some 19s as we're not. I don't know where these imbalances are going to go. I would say sell side based on what the market's doing. So let's try to hold on to just a little bit more. Oh man, it's too bad we didn't get that position up here at 82, but nice downside push now on the TQs. Let's just hang out. $1 in the money Nvidia, 60 cents in the money TQs. Yeah,
I'm still going to stick with the bid and jump out the 192 level. It is support there on Amazon. It's not like it's not like this was the level that I shorted on trend. So if he trends back to the upside, this would be the spot that I would expect a dip to come in from just like a technical spot. Like there was a pivot spot before where it turned from resistance into support. So with that and the fact that it's 345 as well, just get it out at that 192 level. This was good for a reload. And part of it was, hey, 193, VWAP, both those things worked out. It was red on the day. Generally speaking, we've been favoring shorts on Amazon underneath that $200 level because we're just calling it a Bezos top. The guy still has like 70-something% apparently of his filed shares that he can still sell. So I want to look for short opportunities in Amazon, just favor it from a general direction. But I'll jump out of it. Went from red to green on this stock. It was not a good one before. Tesla, yeah, for those that immediately pointed out that potentially that, I forget his name already, the VP pick might be bad for EVs. Tesla was a strong stock before that announcement and rolled right over. So if you make that observation early, that was a $4 drop. But I'll just be happy that the shorts we put on worked here this afternoon. And if 350 hits and we get a chance to maybe fade something on the way back, my eyeballs will be on Amazon just in case we get a pop that we can fade into. For now, we'll just kind of chill out for the next 3 minutes.
All right. I mean, the futures, there isn't really, to me, this is the real trading that we're talking about on the show, right? I mean, it's about taking a position, believing in it, sticking with it. Neil had that good trade there on Amazon. And this one right here has really, really meant something today. And this is, and again, I ran into Obi the other day, and it was just like, dude, you know, all these calls, and we have so much buying power and so much risk and all this kind of stuff that really, when you make a trade, you have to make a trade. And so that's, you know, we're trying to do that. And we've, you know, started to use more shares. And not just because of that, just in general. And that's why I was saying about sitting beside Obi here and what we were doing on Friday, where this market just kept on coming in. And all of a sudden, it was like the net was just like, and that's what's happening now again. It's like you got to hold on to some of these things. When a trade comes in, though, you still do take it, right? Nvidia down 1%, just came into this recent bottom over the last hour. So we'll take a piece out. If it drops like this, great, says Tony the Tiger, because this is continuing its move down. And now put that one on the board for $1 right here goes Nvidia as well. So all is well over here, and I hope all is well over where you guys are as well, because this market just keeps on making sense to the downside. And there it goes. We are now $1 in on a good trade for the TQs as well. So far, so good here today, guys. Again, I just hope that everyone's enjoying themselves and able to make a little bit of money and at least follow some of the trades that we've been putting on here. Make sure it matches. Yeah, make sure it matches with your
risk tolerance and risk setups.
Yeah, and a lot of us have completely different risk tolerances, right? Different nets to deal with.
I want to answer Rivian Millionaire here today. I am down today. I got about, from my lowest point, I've gotten half of it back. But the number one trade I wanted today was DJT. Like I have no qualms about it. Qualms. It's qualms, not qualms. It's qualms. Thank you, Adara. I know I get it wrong all the time. No, and DJT, it doesn't look like much here because it's a relatively tight range, but I was not willing to scalp this trade. Like I was getting in at 42.5, giving underneath for like $1, and then doing it a second time in. So I was willing to risk $1 both times, looking for a monster push up. Like when I got my best fill at 42 even, I was taking out in front of, for first leg out, a quarter in front of the 43 for like 75 cents and looking for a hold into 46. But that is multiple attempts at it at that long, and it didn't work. So it's going to be my worst stock on the day, even if it doesn't look like much. And we started out, and I said in the morning, I said at 9:30 I'm going to be looking for DJT. If it broke and halted up, I was going to take it. and no question about it. It just didn't happen on DJT today, but you had to look for something else. Eventually, the market trended down and gave you some opportunities. Maybe DJT is good tomorrow. I have no idea. So we'll just have to play it by ear. Tomorrow, Miguel just asked about QuantumScape. We've got a lot of questions. A few people have asked about QuantumScape today. Continuation play for this Volkswagen news from last week. It still is not breaking out this level on the daily. I think it could go. It's a big squeeze type name, big short float. Ooh. But like this is Friday's high, $8.64. This is today's high, $8.68. So it's a great consolidation off the top. I'd be looking for a breakout style trade here. Tomorrow, there's plenty of room on this daily, but you can see this afternoon, there's just nothing to be seen for it. 10 seconds to go till the imbalances come in. I'm going to be back on over to Amazon. If this one presents an opportunity for a pop and fade on maybe, if it's a sell imbalance and pops up, I'd try to short it if you want.
Ooh la la, right there. That's a face slapper extraordinaire for the TQs, because there it goes to the downside. Let's have a quick look to see if anything did pair off here or what it was looking like. So here are the new releases. You guys are wondering about NASDAQ. There's Nvidia, and yeah, we're short on Nvidia. That's $1 in the TQs as well. As we look to, again, put some more damage here on the board. Wow, this market, I just heard Obi, I thought in the background say, wow, look at that market. There it goes, man. We are now $1, and believe in the trades. Just believe in it. We heard that was the confidence there with Adara earlier, and I just think that it matters a lot, right? Like, that's how you got to get going, and be able to make your trades and double check them and triple check them and just put them on. If they lose, they lose, and that's you know, why we're going to be as honest as we possibly can here, because there's a lot of traders out there that will tell you one thing but put up different. So yeah, we'll both be negative there, but again, a good trade. Let's see where this TQs goes. Only 9 minutes left on the day, so yeah, not a great open. My big thing was Amazon. We got smoked there. We were way too confident in that long, but hey, man, making it back with this TQ trade here to the downside. So let's go. Again, a couple reloads there. We never hold it all, but we did pretty good to be in what we're in right now on this name. So yeah, Amazon, Apple, the rest of the day, what is it, 351 right now? Lots of time left, but these futures continue its fall from, I guess, races. I mean, we were positive. The NASDAQ's there. We started shorting the TQQs. This is percentage points in the money right now as we really start to get elevated, man. Oh, yeah. Huge move down to $1.50 now in the money for the NASDAQ. So hopefully you guys are trading futures. You guys asked for more futures trading, and there it is right there. The NASDAQ short all afternoon. And again, like I just said, easily my number one P&L name on the day, and pretty glad about that, as Nvidia is still that dollar. We've only had two trades all afternoon. Nvidia short, which is $1.50, and the TQ short, which is $1.50. So two trades this afternoon, 2 for 2, and both day makers. And there's Nvidia out right there at the bottom of the day off these shorts. So if this is something that you're interested in, we just got out right there on that bottom take, put some bids out, got filled, and right there into the bottom. So far, so good there, as we'll just try to hold on to this one, as there goes the market. Now $1.70 in the money over here on that one.
Yeah, there was no pot to be faded. Great look holding on. I got out of my shorts. The shorts were the only things that worked. Let's be real for a second this afternoon. We're not going to have anything going on those breakouts at DJT. I like what QuantumScape did. I'll give it a gold star for the fact that it's still at the high of the day. I want to come in just for a second. Every time I've mentioned Amazon, I have not mentioned this. Yes, I like the trend short underneath 200 and all that good stuff. But if Amazon gets down to about like 188, 190, it was a triple top breakout. It's a 50-period moving average. You are now a day away, I think, from getting into an implied support level on AMZN. Ignore that wick. I got a few dark pool wicks. I haven't been cleaning them up like the past, but if you got down there, that 188 to 190 on the daily chart, still unbroken. That 50-period hold. It held 50 period, then got to 200. I think if it gets back down there, we do like it. Tesla on the, I guess, the VP nod, just bounced off 252. Look, that's where it bounced in the morning, but I'm not looking to catch any falling knife long trades at 354. The day is about done. I was looking for a short pop at 350 on anything that we could have got at 350 on the imbalances for Amazon. It didn't. It's now bouncing into 355. So I doubt we get an opportunity to trade at 193. We have pretty much no time to go at all. So we'll see what happens there. Great day if you were looking at the crypto names. Good look for Coinbase actually holding up pretty nicely there. And maybe we get a shot tomorrow to right the wrong on Mara. Because Mara, okay, fine, like it's breaking out, but you know what? It could always consolidate and hold that breakout next level up at 23 or breaking out through 25 tomorrow. If there is any continuation, note what was strong today. Mara, QS, not much else. So crypto names, Coinbase was strong, Bitcoin was strong, IBIT, which is what I'm going to look at. But I still think we're looking for shorts. And chip names weak, Tesla now weak, Amazon continuing to be weak. That my first look is going to be Amazon, I think, tomorrow morning out of the big cap tech names. Just because I think there was a better read on Amazon ultimately, like much tighter trades, good stops, as opposed to Apple, which was, I'd like to call Apple a disappointment, although big move at 355. I didn't see Apple on the imbalances, but my guess is at 55, whatever it is, it just paired off. Maybe even went upside. Nope.
I think they might have all been.
Tesla's 500,000 sell, though.
Yeah, I think Tesla. I don't think Tesla really has anything to do with that nominee. Just the fact that the market really tanked down. I mean, you just mentioned Tesla trying to bounce back up here, but it does make sense as we'll try to figure that story out the more and more we go. To hold on to something is silly. We only have now 10% of what we had left. So outs there, outs all the way back down. We just got a 90 fill as we did battle back up. I mean, we can hold this to 81.40 if we really did want to. But again, things have changed now. Our stop was 20 cents. We talked about getting out at 82 if 82 broke, right? It was 82.10, so 30 cents. So 30 cents to make $1.50 live right there. So, Kathy, I already have a job. But right there, nice move to the downside as, this continues to go lower off of that print. So nice battle here for the TQs, battling back. But again, lower off that imbalance, now battling back. You got to make sure that you take the outs when they are provided.
Especially late in the day.
Especially late in the day. There's a nice little bounce. Yeah, especially late in the day. I mean, that's why I was like into 350. Here's 350 right here. So we did get a flush down and we had some bids cover, which is great. So again, nice move back up. We could just empty this. We've given some back by holding, but into that was a good one. Thoughts on Tesla tomorrow long?
I don't know where it's going to gap to. I mean, with the assumption that it's actually right here, I kind of felt, and actually with my morning note, I was saying 248, the previous close would have been a dip buy zone. I'm just going off of that. Obviously it didn't. These are not real dark pool wicks. Sorry about that. I just didn't clean them this morning. But 248 would have been the level. It never came anywhere near that. I suppose you could look and maybe bounce off that in the morning. But if it loses 248, that's not good for Tesla at all. Because all I see is it goes right back to the high from the Cybertruck delay or whatever we're calling it, goes back to that high and rejects it, fills in the gap. So the next key level is about $248. So 250 to 48 is where it has to bounce. That's about where I'd be willing to take a dip buy. But if you're catching a falling knife, I'd got to get out of Dodge. If it's under 248, I'm not going to be fighting it. And if I'm fighting along under 248 tomorrow, then I can tell you right here, right now, that makes no sense. Unless there's some kind of ridiculous catalyst that comes out of nowhere, which I'm not seeing happening.
I guess I got to get over to the desk at some point here. It's 3:58 right now. Join me, Michael Noss, and Adara as we'll talk about some of the bank stocks and some of the moves that had happened today, including crypto, which is now today is going to close around 34 and 63.
Wow, Morgan Stanley really came back.
So a real nice move right there. All right, there it comes, man. Nice pullback for the markets. I'll just put a bid out here. I do think we can get a lot lower than where we are right now. But we have to be flat at the end of every day. So we'll wait to see if we can get that fill for right now. It is 3:58. I just remembered I got summoned for jury duty on Wednesday. So I will not be here on Wednesday. So that is too bad for me, but good for everybody else because you will have Obi and Neil on the ones and twos. So that should be a fun opportunity this coming Wednesday as give me that bid. There it is right there. We go. Hot dog cannons to end the day with a monster, man. We wound up making almost everything back on TQs that we lost on Amazon. Almost, though, almost. Not quite that way. It's amazing how much we wound up losing on Amazon. We had too much confidence in here at 193. But hey, that's what trading is. And as long as we wind up making more and losing less, that's all that matters. Less than a minute left here. Go get him. I'm going to go get a water and get set up over at the desk.
The water is back. Our water taps were, I don't know, they weren't working in the middle of the day, but you got to stay hydrated. I did not refill mine. I've reached for my water glass like 5 times in the afternoon show. Look, if I had reloaded on Amazon, it would have worked, but it's like 30 seconds left in the market. It did put in a lower high, still weak, down that 1%. The market is pulling right back in. DJT is going to close at $40 as well. But you know what time it is? Get it off me. Get it on over to the green screen for the final 10 seconds of just Monday, first day of the trading week. Pretty good day for a few stocks, but not so much for the overall market, giving almost everything back. Ring it in 2 and 1, Adara. So propped up by good days for some of the bank names in there. The NASDAQ is going to manage to get back into the green, but it gave up a lot there at the end. 0.3 to the upside. The ES, pretty much exactly the same story. I think, obviously, the big thing might be what happened with the reversal in Tesla. Tesla gapping up and then right back. So he's going to close up 2%, but that's ridiculously deceiving, I think, on Tesla. So right back into Friday's highs is Tesla. That is a clear trend rollover, dragging everything back into the downside. It was a crypto kind of day. If you were looking for anything long, you're going to have Coinbase up 11%, Riot, Mara, both those looking pretty strong. Don't sleep on QuantumScape as well. We're going to be watching some QuantumScape tomorrow, I think. You know, this is the way that we pull back in that market. I like to observe what held strength. As we were closing, I have to mention this. Goldman Sachs reported, Goldman Sachs closes at the high. We got Morgan Stanley. We have to wait for their report. Morgan Stanley was just as strong in sympathy and trending just as well. It actually dumped back into VWAP at the close. So some people looking for the exit despite the good day in Goldman Sachs. Some people looking for the exit and selling that rally in Morgan Stanley late. I want to keep the ear down. If Morgan Stanley performs worse than Goldman Sachs, I think that's a name that can be shorted. But just looking at what happened relatively to the two, the banks had held up pretty much all day. So right at the end there, it gave it up. So I want to make sure we got that. Big shout out. Thank you very much, Fabian and Ramin, as well on the ones and twos, making us look and sound good. Shout out to both Sharif and Adara. Learn to trade, a little more Elliott Wave action. Make sure you're tuning into the midday so you can learn about technicals and everything that they're able to cover. Big shout out to Michael Noss for coming through in the morning, and I know he's going to be having some fun. As we roll you on over, you don't have to do anything. All you got to do is sit back, relax. It's going to transition directly from here to the market recap show. Go over the trades, go over the market, go over what the heck is going on with DJT and all these politics. No, we're not ready. It's all good. We'll keep rolling on here a little bit. I can go back over it. Well, I said DJT. I can say what's going on with DJT, which is still working off that $40 level. Maybe there is something tomorrow. It gave a pullback. I'd love for this to lull everybody into a sense of like malaise and then make the breakout. So just because we're down on it today, I don't mind going right back over to it and looking for the same break back above that 50-period moving average. So you got to be able to get right back on the horse, even though I was down on that one. Still looking for that squeeze play. So let's get on over to it. We got Sean, we got Adair, we got the Nos Boss as well with the market recap right about now.
Got to sign into Twitter over here.
Hey.
Adara, what was that news you're talking about?
Yeah,
with
so GM, it's recovering a little bit, but we had a couple of volume spikes here. As you could see, accelerating volume into the close on the 3-minute chart. We did have on CNBC, GM CEO Mary Barra saying that the company is not going to hit its 1 million EV target. So this I was seeing a little bit circulate before I saw that actual news come through here. But yeah, this confirmed here on CNBC, Mary Barra saying that they're not going to hit their 1 million EV target here. Bit of a drop, especially a spike up in volume with this move down here for GM. They're actually reporting next week. So General Motors, I just wanted to put that out there before we get to the rest of the recap there. But yeah, this is what a day we had here. Once again, the market's giving us so much to talk about and look at. That is for sure. We were down, then we were back up on the day. What a day here.
Yeah, pretty wild day. Thanks for that, Adara. As we continue to go on here, welcome to the market recap show. Not too many earnings to talk about tonight. of course, but we did have a decent spot today with a few names coming through and reporting, including Goldman Sachs, as that does not suck. Goldman Sachs, nice move up, looking to break through 500 again on a good report there. This is just a daily chart. We'll flip it over here. Look at a 3-minute, actually closes at its highs. We like when stocks do that, relatively strong. Nice move upside right there for Goldman. Again, it looks like ARK, and I know there's a lot of hate for ARK, but that name, again, upside right here as rates, again, come into focus. We did have an interesting move at the end of the day on Tesla, I feel like, with a little bit of a pullback in on that. No, I don't know if that's a JD Vance or not report there, but we just also got that report from GM claiming less sales coming through for then. So let's just quite a quick look on GM. I'm actually not logged into the Benzinga platform right now, but there is that drop down to 48. What does that look like on a daily chart? Nothing. So GM really, really working out well. Ford, wow, congratulations to anybody on Ford. That has been an absolute dare. See, this is when you see a chart like this, I think it's time to get something off all the way back up to the upside.
Because you're coming past that previous area of resistance, right? Now you're popping.
I think you can maybe hold it back to this 14 or so, but yeah, for now, not looking back. What's up, John? Yeah, traders stay late. We created this show for you. Look at UNG. Uh-oh. I know there's some traders that I think we're looking to get into some of this near the bottoms. And I know that our good friend Michael Noss has cautioned against UNG a couple times, but again, a nice move down. Why? What did we miss here today about, this is the problem with doing this, is that I don't have all the stories, like why is TAN down so much? I don't know why solar
weakness across the board. FSLR on its own down like 7%.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, again, TAN not doing too well. We had talked the other day and we stumbled for that Chinese ETF, I think on Friday, and it was KWeb. So that just went up to the 50-period moving average. And it's a good thing we talked about that on Friday, because look where we are now, all the way back in. I had written down actually today on the sticky note, we will get to this as we probably have sticky note. We haven't looked at the sticky note in a minute, but here it is right down here. We wanted FXI at 27.20 to the short side. Man, I can't wait to talk about this Mara 23 long trade, how crazy that was. But FXI today, we wanted the 27s. And you know what? You could have got that pretty early at 26.83 again. Growth in China slowing, sending this to the downside. So you are going to have KWeb, FXI. We looked at wheat last week. Like, I don't know what's going on with this one. As wheat. Is Michael there? I can't see the green room. He's not there yet. Adara, what's up with wheat? Right now, moving downside. We'll find out more about that.
It's like wheat's on like a gluten-free diet. They're not able to take in that wheat.
Could be a possibility there. Gluten-free diets picking up speed.
Actually, could be a thing. Yeah.
Nah, I think that's an old.
I was kind of making a pun, but yeah, either way, it could be.
Yeah,
I mean, like half my family is celiac for real. So
yeah. I don't know if that's. No, I'm not sure that's a pun. I just think that's true.
I think it's started as a pun, but it actually could be true as well. Anyways, sorry, I digress.
All right, no, that's a good one. Yeah, so just talking about wheat here, just because look at this, man, it's not like a single day event. So it just makes that move to the downside. But you know what? It could be also related to, honestly. What about Ozempic and stuff like that? When there's a lot of that, you're supposed to still stay away from carbs. Maybe. I have no idea.
Also this summer, like people
quite clearly, I love carbs.
Yeah.
953. They're being Italian and everything, of course. They're a nice move to the upside there for Eli Lilly as that name continues to go. This was one of the better trades that I've had on in the past year or so. Thought I was buying it really high, but it just continues to get higher and higher. Today, the IWM trade is on, and this is probably something that we could talk to Michael about. A lot of traders have been looking at IWM, and we've been talking about this. I think it even goes back to the days when we had JC Peretz on the show as well, and we talked about relative strength and weakness in some of these lower scheduled. You know, how many stocks you think are in the Russell 2000?
2000?
1982.
Really?
Yeah. Taylor Swift is 87 or 89?
89. I hate that I know that, but it is 89.
Yeah, well, it's okay that you know that. It's fine. Nice move up, 218 breaking out right now. IWM still has work to go until we get back up to that 243 area as well. Part of what's been helping some of the IWM, of course, Carvana, part of that as well is Carvana right now. Wow. Michael, we talked about smiley faces. This is a long-term smiley face that actually bottomed at $3. Now, oh my God. We talk about, I think my head, see the picture there? Cut off the top part of my head. Oh yeah, I grew 3 inches on the weekend as well.
Oh, congrats.
I banged my tailbone, which is why I don't want to stand.
I did know that. Yeah.
Why didn't want to sit.
Yeah.
Tailbone is a.
Yeah, the coccyx. Yeah. That's what it's called.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, have you heard it before, or?
I know. Yeah, I think it's like I've heard like some people who have injured it in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to my doctor, and he's like, man, you're gonna be. There's really nothing you can do. I banged it against the tub there, and it's like and all of a sudden I was trying to. Yeah, it's just been a pain for the last little bit. I have that seat that you can sit at.
Because remember you mentioned that last week. That's how I discovered you had the
It's
injury.
also for hemorrhoids.
Really?
Yeah.
Same pillow.
Yeah.
Both.
Maybe I have both. Maybe I do.
Or you know.
Maybe I do not. TMI. Supposed to be a trading show.
I was going to say, is TMI a ticker? We should look
Maybe if I do bad on this, I'll get kicked off. I don't know. All right. Yeah, Adara Nye, the science gal. Right there. So good one. Shout out to that was in the chat there. Jay Haas, right there. Yeah, no, hopefully we, anyways, whatever ails everybody, hopefully you're treating and getting better right there. I mean, today's a funny day because let's maybe look over some of the sector heat map here, or the stock heat map with sector by sectors. Because if we're going to read some of these notes here today, the NASDAQ, the fly around here right now. Let's look at some of these names as today the NASDAQ did have a nice move tandem with the S&P 500 before falling, right, throughout the day, making a move down around 1 o'clock as Powell says, see you later, and some of those questions come flying at him. I thought there was a question there about will he extend through the next couple terms, and he was uncertain. And of course, if elected, Fed chair will stay there, I would imagine, but we'll see. I think the market likes Jerome Powell. Seems to be at all-time highs. Yeah. That would make a lot of sense there. The news moved names like Tesla as far as Donald Trump was concerned. We did get, where's Tesla on here? It actually wound up being 5 or 6 on consumers. There it is right there. Consumer durables. It actually only winds up 1.78. Okay, so that fell a lot. We did see Tesla battle all the way back to that 265 level. And again, some people thought that was support for Trump and everything was going well. Then today the RNC starts. And then we had J.D. Vance as well selected as VP candidate, so or his running mate, I should say. Yeah. So there, Tesla with the move back upside and then falling down today. So you could watch out for SpaceX or other names like that. We did get a bid come through today for Stripe that I heard. So some of those Visa, MasterCard, nice upside, as well as some PayPal was moving around. We talked a little bit about that on the show. Utility sector traded lower today as many of its components dropped. Nextera Energy down by 5%. Again there today as some of the energy names look to get a little bit lower. You know what was pretty red today? Healthcare. It looks like took it on the chin. But Eli Lilly still up. J&J slightly down with earnings coming for them. It's only 4:11. We'll come to Michael Noss in just a couple seconds. Yeah, look, people talking about selling some Ford. I don't know. We could sit here and of course Michael's going to analyze any chart that we ask him to, but this Ford is still a little bit sleepy. I mean, I went down to a weekly chart here just to show you, although it's really woken up, I just think like we were already here back last summer up to $15. This is a decent sell area. I feel like in and around $14.75, $15 here for Ford, getting woken up again. You could see GM also near the highs, obviously for the year breaking out new highs. This actually looks like a little bit of a better candidate for as long as $45. Looks to be a decent base if you're in trouble where you could get out and still sacrifice that 10% back or hopefully a run into 60. But Mary Barra came through, didn't she, at the end of the day there and mentioned, oh yeah, this potential weak demand there for the EVs. I did not buy Mara long, but that 23 break, this was another sticky note name. We will call over to Michael Noss, but I want to talk about that. There it is right there, $23. Mara should be a volatile day. We like the breakout. Mara is another name that a lot of our guests have talked about. Let me just zoom back into the daily to show you why we liked 23. Just a simpleton like me can draw a line right here. Actually, maybe I cannot do that. Let me just try to draw it right here.
Drawing lines is hard.
There we go. Yeah, sometimes it is, at least straight ones. There it is right there. See, that was even, I think, a little bit of an angle, but there's that 23 break right through right now, extending upside up to 24 and change. And look, since that break, boom. We don't have Mara on the sticky note all the time, but we do have it on when crypto's starting to move. So we knew today coming in with crypto being up 4 or 5%, ends the day up 6 or 7%, that Mara had that chance to go. And there it is. Look, There's 23 Adara. 23 and me.
23 and you?
I was talking about this. You ever see that Netflix show? Maybe
With all the babies?
Yeah, it's called like 1,000 something. Man with 1,000 kids. The wife and I were talking about this. We drove up and down to pick up my daughter and back. So we drove 7 hours up and down on Saturday, which was a lot of fun. We got to see our nephews and nieces and everybody. So it was a lot of fun. We had a lot to talk about. And we said, wouldn't that be wild? Don't you think that they should limit the amount of donations that you could do, especially in a certain area? Like 1,000 kids. The next thing you know, because most of them, you know, you're donating at certain times of your life. So there's a good chance, I feel like, a lot of these kids could be the same age.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you look over to the person beside you and you find out it's your brother or sister. Ooh, I got to watch that. Before I comment more on that, I thought that was pretty wild right there. As
Heebie-jeebies.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Talks when you're on 7 hours driving up and down, you talk about some weird things. And then DJT, although you know what? You know you married the right person, everything like that. We don't even put the radio on. Like we just
You guys can just talk for 7 hours. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome.
Stupid kids. All right, $39. We have a lot in common, me and my wife. Yeah, especially our love for the kids. All right, $39 right there for DJT. I'm going to guess that Michael Noss, not too interested in DJT, but let's ask him himself. It's Trader Talk. Hey, Mr. Michael Noss, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
I don't know if you can tell, but we're in a pretty good mood. We've been in a good mood for a minute here today. I feel really lucky. I know we're in the same profession here, although I'm kind of in broadcasting a little bit. But as far as trading is concerned, these are the kind of days where you have big moves. You can win on the long, especially if you're trading just simple names like the TQQ or the NASDAQ itself. What a great move up. Come over to my chart right here on the 3-minute chart. Great move up today, up to $83, $84. But then the fade. Was there anything you were doing here this morning, a little bit of a different AM than a PM in the market?
Yeah, I was watching more of the same. You know, I'm talking about this on Friday. I think this is still kind of the tail of the tape. If you go to my screen here and you look at the cues that you were talking about, barely up today if I zoom in. And again, had that wild, choppy action that you're talking about. Take a look at the IWM, the small caps, a big healthy body today, a nice push up, didn't have that crazy whippy back and forth action. So if more confirmation that we are finally rotating out of big tech and we are rotating into pretty much everything else, mainly small caps, that kind of thing. So for me, as somebody who wants to trade as many things as possible, it's fantastic. For those who just, want to take a look at Nvidia and Microsoft and Tesla and all that, it just may be a little bit of a harder time going forward.
We did have that move up in Tesla there today, and I don't know if you did hear, but we do have now apparently that VP selection there coming through, and he had voted against some EV topics, I guess, in the past. So Tesla does make that move down. I don't think necessarily that was creating the whole move in the marketplace there. You want to talk a little bit about some banks? Was there any of these names that you've been looking at? We got a good report from JP Morgan. I'll come over to that. I think that me and you are very similar in our trading styles, and that is that we like to trade strong names long and weak names short. So JP Morgan, I'm not sure this is a buying opportunity. Tell me what it looks like. We had a few other people on the show over the last little while looking at some of these banks, but as we zoom in here, you could see a little bit of a push down there from Friday down in sub 200 or so, or not even, sorry, down into 200, and then just brought right back up, taking out all-time highs again here for JP Morgan. Maybe earnings necessarily isn't all of our fortes, but now that it's through earnings season, I think this name looks fine to buy dips. I even use a simple 50-period moving average down here to 200. If you're going to be in banks, why not JP Morgan?
Yeah, best of breed, right? So I have the XLF chart up here, and this looked phenomenal. This is one of the reasons why small caps is doing so well. People forget quite often that small caps have a lot of banks in them. And if you look just here on my kind of relative strength and weakness scanner here, we have KRE and KBE, and those are both bank ETFs, both small and medium. And those charts are doing phenomenally as well, up 3% on the day across both of them. So I agree that JP Morgan's best of breed. There's something in human nature where people want to buy the most beat up names and short the most strong names, but there's tons of literature, studies, back tests that prove that it's just the opposite that works out. So I really like the look of this chart, to be honest. I hadn't seen this until you mentioned it, but it looks like we have a nice flag there. I love anytime you get these undercut and rallies where it looks like it's going to sell off and then, rockets back up to get some shorts in. And then on the monthly chart that we have here on the bottom, I'll just move this over for JP Morgan. This thing's just been crazy, right? 81% doesn't sound like a lot when you're used to Nvidias and all this, but 81% for a large bank is amazing. So yeah, JP Morgan's best of breed. I like the chart, and financials are strong.
Wait a minute, that's 81% year to date? Is that what that?
No, sorry, that's 5-year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, damn, that's up. But, we've seen it down there before. We talked about COVID lows of $80. So there it goes. Nice move up to 200 in change right now. Look, I've talked about the Widowmaker. I think I could just say that, and you may know what I'm talking about. UNG down 7% today. And I know that we never really recommend buying this unless you're trying to hold it for a trade and you have a stop. So I ask you this right now. We basically have, if we come over to the daily chart on my screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit of stopping goes here at 16, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 or so nice days of downside action with only really 1 day of resistance, then that gap into today. And now we'll look to see if we take out $14. There's no way you're buying this. Am I correct?
I may. I need some more action from it. But we were talking about this way back here at 15, and I got a great trade from 15 to about 20. When I exited, one of the tools I was using for this on the bottom here, this is a demarker, it's called. It's by Thomas DeMark, who's very, very famous for catching turning points in markets. And the last time it was this low, I'll just circle kind of two of them, we had these nice rallies from it, and we are back here again. But like you mentioned, this is how you have to trade something like natural gas, and it has to just be a trade. You got to pick your level. You got to trade small enough that if it shoots through that level 5 or 6 or 10%, you're not too worried. And then you got to take your profits when you have them. But I'm not just going to buy because it's hitting this level. But if I see some strength over the next few days, I might take a shot to see if we get a bounce here.
Okay, thanks for that, Michael. I think, I didn't mean that you weren't going to buy it, but I knew that you made a nice play before at 15. And I think that's right. Have a stop order. We always talk about being risk managers, and I think that that's more than important. Look, we did our research around here. We're on top of the ball. That's more Adara. And she found out that you tweeted about IWM this morning and again on last Friday. It does look like I dropped JC's name earlier on. There's sector rotations. Whenever I go through different Twitters, especially yours, we talk about different sectors picking up steam or losing steam. It looks like the Russell 2000 right now is in breakout mode. I'm assuming this is a trade that you like as well.
Absolutely. Full disclosure, I'm in some Russell 2000 from, is it TNA or TZA? I keep forgetting. Yeah, TNA, which is a triple leverage version. And I bought some on this breakout day. So just full disclosure, that's the position I'm in.
All right.
Now, on as a broad strokes, what I like about this more than just, hey, it's I'm in a trade and that trade's working well. It's what does it mean for the market? And it means that this rotation may finally be coming. And, the Ralph Alcampora, who created the CMT, always said that rotation is the lifeblood of a bull market. So you need to see it. The question always is, when people take profits off of a major trend like AI, where do they put those profits? These hedge funds have to be always invested. In bear markets, they'll put them in defensive assets. They'll put them in, T-bills or bonds or utilities or something. in markets that they, the quote unquote they, who have all the researchers behind them, if they are strong on the market, they'll go down the cap scale and they'll start buying small caps and they'll start buying micro caps and, risking some of that money they already made. So the fact that we're seeing that, again, if you are someone who has a product like Trade Ideas and you're scanning the market all the time and you're looking for opportunities outside of those big tech names, I think it's a very exciting time. If you're someone who will only trade, again, Nvidia and all of those big tech names, then I think you're in for some chop for the near future.
I really like the situation with your beard there. I feel like you've trimmed that up. That looks really good there, your beard. People in the chat, yeah, look at that. I like that. I like that. Okay, so have you ever seen anything? I mean, maybe there's other examples, but Carvana on the weekly, I mean, wow. Right now we are starting to get back up. The reason why I think this is an interesting look is that's $3 down here. This is $150 right here where we're at. And this top, Michael, in and around 165. I know this is a name that you've done work on, especially recently here with Trader TV Live as well, looking at short float scanners and whatnot. Carvana is still up there, 22%. It used to be like 80% or something down near its lows. But now that's starting to pair off. What do we look for when we see a chart kind of going parabolic like this and we're looking for retracement back into the short? Is there an indicator or something that you may look for that in your research have seen to say, okay, maybe now it's worth a shot? I'm just looking at past resistance in and around that 165. But maybe there's something on a weekly that you're looking for, 2 consecutive down weeks or something. Anything on Carvana potentially slowing down?
I wouldn't bet on it. Again, just full disclosure, I am long Carvana from that mention that I had over at Trader TV, because the issue is that people are still nearly 1/4 of the float is short, right? So there's still a lot of unwind to do. Now, where to get on to pullbacks, what I've been looking at, if you watch Carvana and you've just been anchoring these VWAPs, there's one right here that was anchored from that breakout candle and it stopped right there. And then the same thing happened recently, where if you look at this breakout candle, it stopped right there again before bouncing off. So what this is telling us is that, the buyers are defending the breakout VWAP, the average price, each time it pulls back. So if you're looking to take the other side of Carvana, I think you have to wait for that to stop happening, to wait for that trend to change. If you're looking to buy Carvana, I think you do the same thing. You grab a VWAP from, the low here, this last breakout candle, that lines up perfectly with that 125 high. If you can get a pullback to that area and then you can watch it on a daily or an intraday basis and it looks good, I think that's your place to take a trade. I wouldn't be chasing it up here and I really wouldn't be shorting it. I think it's one of those, if you've got it, hang on. If not, set your alerts and maybe wait for a pullback or some sort of base to form or something like that.
Hi, thank you so much, Michael, for being here. We had some questions here in the chat from Chase Bands asking about Netflix heading into earnings. We do have Netflix earnings Thursday after the close. They got a price target increase to $7.40 from BofA Securities. So we're wondering if you had any thoughts on this name.
When it comes to Netflix, it's gonna move a lot with those the Mag 7 or whatever we're calling them now. I was watching this earlier, and I do have an anchored VWAP here that is very interesting from these lows that happened back in May. We've touched that right to the tick before bouncing today. So that's around 640. I think that's a good area to keep an eye on. I, for one, just never recommend buying or holding into earnings. It's a binary event in which I cannot control. I've seen so many stocks either gap up 20% or gap down 20%. If it's already a pre-existing trade, then I think sometimes you can hold it. But for me, I'm going to look to stay away. Also, the fact that we've seen this downfall over the last few days leading into earnings, sometimes that could be people in the know selling their stock before it happens. That's a bit tinfoil hatty, but for me, it's just kind of stuck in the range. If you want to buy the pullback to 640, I think that's a good one, a bounce off there. But yeah, for me, I would just stay out until earnings is done and then let all that process and take your trade after.
Thank you, Michael, for that Netflix look right there. And yeah, another big name falling back in. I have to ask you about something else before we let you go. And thank you again for joining us. look, you've nailed Mara over and over again on the show. And again, with crypto seeming like it's coming back a little bit, you and I talked about crypto when it was near that 73,000. It looked like a breakout. We get the fail, pulls back in. And I just noticed that Mara, actually, if you come over to the screen there, this $23 that we drew here, that was the top, and then we fell back in. We fell down about $4 or $5, giving not that much, about 20% of a pullback. So a little more than crypto fell, obviously, back in, but now on the break higher. And we're going to talk about it because there it is right there, 26% short float on Mara. Let this big sort of FU candle settle down here maybe from the day, or do we take this as a, you know what, to the shorts, and now we continue to climb higher until we break back down below 23? I almost feel like as a swing trade, if we can get something close to 23 and give it about $1, I think there's more room to run to the upside. You like that idea on Mara?
I do. I was looking at this before I hopped on here, and I like that potential pullback to the breakout that you were talking about. It's a heavily shorted stock. What I will say is that, like I mentioned before, these companies now that there's ETFs out there become harder for me to really love. And the reason for that is that I've worked in the industry of crypto mining, and it is a very capital intensive, very labor intensive industry. So there's always this drag, and none of them have really gotten super profitable yet. So for a short-term trade, for a short squeeze, absolutely. But for a long-term hold, I'm not too sure. Now, a couple names that you can play instead. So full disclosure, I am long Coinbase. We mentioned this a few times, me accumulating in this kind of area, leaning on 200. I think Coinbase also benefits in the same way that a lot of these other companies like Mara would do if crypto continues to move higher. I like that move. Also, an ETF that's actually picking up some steam now is WGMI. And if you don't want to try to pick your crypto miners, but you want to find something that will move with a little bit more beta than Bitcoin, which is funny enough to say, this WGMI is a Bitcoin miners ETF, and this is actually closing out on 52-week highs. So if I had to go over the crypto miners, I think I'm going to pick this ETF just because it's closing at those highs, and it does a good job diversifying across the ETFs as opposed to the miners. Now, lastly, going on here a little bit, I'm sorry, but we talked about this Ethereum outperformance, and we're continuing to see this. And if Ethereum is going to be the leader, it's important to note that, yes, you're going to get some move out of the crypto miners, but you don't need to mine Ethereum anymore, right? That's proof of work now instead of proof of stake. So, you'd really need to see a Bitcoin move in particular to get these things moving, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Michael, for all of that talk. And yeah, you can keep on going. That's fine. We like to hear you. Over 2,000 watching right now. We're holding pretty strong, so it's all good. You know which one we didn't talk about too much that I know you've talked about before? MSTR. Talk about a levered Bitcoin product. And they're going to split as well. MSTR up 17% today alone, looking at this top of 1,700. Michael, oh, I'm going to throw it away. Michael, if there's somebody better, I don't know who it is. So I want to thank you for joining us one more time. I want to make sure that everybody checks out Trade Ideas. Use code TraderTV20 to get that rebate. And of course, again, you're well available both on Twitter, on Instagram. You told me to tell everybody, just Google Michael Noss, and you'll come up with some way to get a hold of you. So I want to thank you, and thank you for always answering my questions in the middle of the day as well. Make sure you take it easy, and best of health and luck to your family, especially the new ones. Thank you, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
Ciao,
Thank
ciao.
you,
No
Michael.
problem. That is Trader Talk. I mean, we always have a great time
Of course,
with everybody.
always, yeah.
Everybody that's here. But that MSTR, Adara, wow, look at this, coming up to 17. The thing is, if I throw it to Michael, then we're going to talk about it for a while. So I want to just quickly talk about that right now. We'll talk about it with Michael next time he's on. But 1750, a good little level for MSTR. As we get the split news, and then Bitcoin rally sends this name up 16%. Short float again of 17%. There's so many names now that are back into play with short floats. So let's make sure that we do stay on top of all of that. We can't go anywhere. By the way, it's 4:32. So that means that the show's over, but not until what, Adara?
Roll call.
You got it. All right, here we go. So again, another big day here for the market. Oh, I logged in Oh, no, I guess I didn't log in. All right, let's call that back up. My layout did not load. I was going to show that short at the end of the day on the TQQ, but let's go over roll call because those who are staying late, traders stay late, and that's why we do this every single day. We have on trading-related guests that will talk about different levels, and you think you're having fun now, wait till you see your boy and Neil do earnings. When earnings are coming through here, then we're going to get excited. We have Adara with us now to drop us all the earnings plays as they come live. So that's starting off this week. We'll get some nice moves after market. You mentioned Netflix and a couple TSMC and a couple big names coming through as well. But here it is. Miguel says thank you to Adara and Sean. You are welcome, Miguel, as well. Donkey Trader, hope you're trading Donkey Kong. And if you know what symbol I mean for that, put that into the chat. What's up, Bears versus Bulls? He hashtags Traders Stay Late. Chase Bands says this is the best show ever. Dave Clark is here. Josh Lyles is here as well. Nightbot, what's up, Nightbot? Henry Chung, thank you for all the support on that X as well. Tony's here. Caleb's here. The Piper's here. What's up, Piper? Roddy Piper. You know that guy? Scottish wrestler. Okay, well, bagpipes, we'll move off
I
of that.
don't know. Raul. We're missing.
That's
Yeah.
okay, no worries. No, I knew you didn't know that. NYSE Urbanista CompuCare team, how are you? My friend, he says, how are you? Back right at you. Encouragement, Sebastian, Ricky Peters, the Piper already said Michael P. Ozan, what's up? Cow Nation, I don't have that over here, but you get a bang,
I like the
bang as well. Hans Beer as well. You are welcome for the great content. And Germany hosted a great Euro as well. So shout out to Hans Beer there. I don't know if he's in Germany. Have you been to Germany before?
I've not been to Germany.
I've been. I stayed one night in Frankfurt on a plane delay. Like they have a big airport there.
Yeah,
layover. On an overnight layover.
Layover. Yeah.
Good one. Same thing with Ramin.
Nice.
That was when I was. So I used to be fly all around and open up different offices for real trading and whatnot. And that was when I was on my way. Would have it been to Italy? I don't know, but we got delayed and
Could have been maybe.
Who knows? Could have, would have, should have. But that was nice. So I did not know much about Frankfurt other than it was a nice hotel room.
Nice. Good to know.
Yeah, that was because you got to get up the next morning and you're out
Like
of
the
there,
crack
right?
of dawn. Yeah, you don't have to
anyways, thank you so much. Me and Adara could talk forever, probably.
Probably.
I know, yeah, you might be able to, and so may I, actually. We may be a dangerous duo. We should never be on the same show together.
Oh, like full
other
time?
than this.
Yeah, I think if it was us on a desk together for any extended period of time, I think there would be a lot of trading, a lot of screaming, and probably a lot of talking. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I can imagine.
Probably a bit too much. All right, thank you so much to the best, Michael Noss. We want to thank you for that. He's on twice today, early and then late. So traders stay early and late with Mike. I want to thank Ramin for staying late as well. Brendo's out of here. Neil's out of here. I want to thank both those guys, well, Sharif and Adara, of course, and to Bears vs. Bulls and Fabian and every single viewer that is with us just now and throughout the day as we continue to provide what I think is the best show for day traders. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sean Katina. That's Miss Adara LePage, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Ciao, everybody.